in together, trading over each other's shoulders, and then it comes
Ma
down
ti
to
si
it again. It's
automatski.
not a lineup this time, but
To je
that
to.
post plant rather of version 1 is just so deadly and hard to break through.
Hey, look at him too, man. Vanity just shows no emotion in those plays, in those moments. It's like cold poker face. I'd never want to call a bluff on that guy. Version 1, full rifles. New turn not nearly as fortunate. They have one in the hands of Lakia, who has the showstopper. But it seems like V1, they have found something that's starting to work. Of course, as I say that, one rifle on the side.
Se čujem je uopšte? Da, okej.
Valley brought it up coming into our last map, or out of our last map, that Penny was finding those first deaths instead of first bloods a little more. And it was affecting version 1, so we'll keep an eye on that call out as well from the analyst desk as we proceed through this. Now round 9. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, already a banger of a series. It's the final map here to see who stays up in the upper bracket between version 1 and New Turn Gaming. It looks like a little love towards B here from version 1, and a lot of focus from New Turn on defense has now pushed Killjoy to A.
Oh no. Oh no, the setup was there, right? You've got the judge, you also had the fault line. Everything was set up. New Turn fully committed to controlling this area.
Des jave, čao, čao.
This was not a fake. Much like what we saw previously, V1 did
Treba
want to
samo
go
da
towards B.
objavim da sam live svuda ono.
Ako
Ako ovo odradim. Jebote, ja da čekam gledam domu poslije. Doma kreći čim se završi ova mapa. Znači čim se ova mapa završi, čim ovdje vidimo ko je pobjednik, onda kreći doma.
And that is prime gaming.
It is prime gaming indeed. You're absolutely right. It seems like every time V1 like figures something out and they punch back, New Turn just respond in kind.
Yeah, New Turn is literally reading version 1 like a book on these plays. I mentioned, I was like, oh my god, all of that utility
Samo da pripremim sve.
was very much focused towards A. KJ's usually on
Tako.
A.
Sad treba da napravim treasure box. Klasika.
Very dangerous, but the way this New Turn set up, being behind each other, always having that contact play with somebody else to take the firefight as well. They do so well playing off each other in these moments where they're just feeling it. And right now, they very much are. As we come into round 10, suggest a bit of a peek there, and he almost loses all of his head.
Yeah, second chance at life. He gets messed up, just down to 10 health, but he manages to get away. No heals on the side of New Turn to get him back to full health. And much like
Borna, hvala ti na 10 konfeta, Borna. Kad doma... Da, to se već gore. 10 Kristijane, šta se radi? Kako je?
And because of that, they can still play around this. They being New Turn, right? They still have the nanoswarm. They still have the turret. And you see the activation of that because V1 showed, and now they're going to pull back. The Sage Wall is up. They're going to work their way in through heaven. Vanity rains fire down on a suggest from top row. Perry trades it back out. Perry looking to hold fast. No, he's going to get cleaned up. As the 3v3 comes through, Effie's res brings Vanity back into things, and there's Lockie's showstopper. The blast pass across, and he lands onto one. Vanity rips him down from the skies, as ALOO is now the one on the entry. There's the lockdown as Elsis cleans up ALOO.
Dobro, to sam uradio.
Has to make some magic happen. There's the snake bite again, delaying entry. At least just a little bit.
Kameru ovdje.
Solo does finally get cleaned up. We talked about this Riv, right? For V1, 7-5, 8-4. That's a win. Right now, it's been rocky, but they're holding serve.
This play coming in here, just seeing how it all executed, how it all worked out. You can't underestimate the use of the lockdowns here, but the placement of it wasn't in range. It was a different place than usual. So it leaves that spot open, just these small things at the last moment when you are forced to make the play. That's what it starts coming down to, is the opponents forcing each other
Sad šaljem noti da sam
to
live.
make plays
Bilo je
under
vreme.
certain situations. You're trying to set a play up, you start getting shot at, you're going to have to start darting and nading under that aspect of firefight. So that's all that New Turn's trying to put down onto version 1. They're just not letting them do anything easy or fundamental to start off.
Tako. Stavim na Twitter.
Really good idea.
Des je skiteru, čao, čao, šta se radi, kako je?
They also invested the fault line at the beginning of the round, just pretty standard, and there's also the denial of info. So version 1 has no idea if somebody's crossed the cross garage to be holding that flank. All of the heavy investment that way. V1, because they haven't found much room to work with elsewhere, they're kind of like huddled up in the middle of the map. This is normally where we see Jammies peek out, see if he can get a kill, and then if they do, they can try to exploit the middle, work their way through ropes.
Da nisam tweetao 2 puta slučajno sam live.
Oh, but it's Solo who gets impatient. It's Solo who gets
Nisam,
punished.
dobro.
And while it wasn't through vents, it wasn't through ropes, they are going to go back towards A with 30 seconds left.
I think that's perfect by version
Desi
1.
Kalou,
We'll talk
samo
about that in a
tuna.
minute as they
Samo
rush the
tuna
site
se
here.
zove,
Penny's gonna be
šta?
the first one in, looking
Desi
for
Benji,
luck.
ćao, ćao. Šta se radi kako? Samo tuna, hvala ti puno na mali neku peti, ih nek 2 eliksira, ludnica, okej. Još na YouTube da rešimo ovo sranje. I story da stavim sam live, da. Šta se dešava ovdje, nisam ni gledao. Tetar 6, vrate, gubi V1, a? Ali... V1 je na tech side. Okej. Čekaj, oni će... Oni neće ni da probaju da im retakeaju site. 4 na 5, pazi, neće ni da probaju. Koliko to pametno da to uopšte? Mislim, nikad ne zna šta može se desiti, zar ne? Ko je dobio prvu mapu? Ovo je već treća mapa, 1-1 je trenutno u mapama. Kad igra Fnatic, čisto završi ova mapa.
We're playing to your game, version 1. I keep looking at the V and saying Vision Striker since New Turn, and I've been watching VOD after VOD. It's so hard to not say it. I apologize to everyone out there. But yeah, they're just... New Turn this time is not falling prey to playing version 1's game.
A realno gledano težak je da se retake, ali težak je da se zauzme onako ga dobro obraniš, ono. Šta znam. O, vidio ga je. On je dead, šta? On je dead. Nije umro, ali ko da jest. Jel oni imaju Sage? Ne. Okej, to je to šta. 6-6 je. I šta sad, možda opet neće da probaju zadnju rundu, znaš ono? A baš me zanima šta, jel možda neće opet da probaju kao zadnje runde? Sad hoće. Sad je baš glasna igrica, jel vi kontate to? Prošli put kad smo gledali nije bilo ovako glasna igrica.
They have a few right under hell, nice and easy, and yeah, they're just pressuring New Turn into having to take something.
Well, and that's the thing, like, we've never seen New Turn have to do this, because now that it's the last round of the half, they're gonna fight it, there's no reason not to. Zels is creeping his way around, Penny flashed up, dashes away, somehow stays alive just long enough, but does get cleaned up. Suggest on the defuse, Effie's and Zelsis are both there, Effie's and Zelsis come right around the corner, just in the nick of time to tie us up at 6 going into the second half.
What a start to this map, and kudos, I should say, for New
Šta
Turn
kažeš za noć što je u shopu sad u Valorantu, a?
To the side of version 1 for being able to pull it back. Looking at the score lines, usually we don't say this, look, KDA's on my word, but looking at the score lines, you can see it has been a complete team effort by the side of version 1. Nobody's having the ability to pop off. Nobody's coming out. It's not Penny's day. This is requiring a lot of teamwork, and we're seeing a different version of the team now that they're kind of allocated to playing that style.
All right, New Turn on the attack. We talked about what score version 1 needed to hit in order to feel good. They surpassed that. And now it's on New Turn on the attack. What can they do? What areas of the map can they exploit? Again, this from a historical perspective, it is a bit better of a half for version 1, right? From a defensive perspective, they tend to play this a bit better. And as you mentioned, Riv, it's painfully average out of New Turn on attack on split.
They don't have the breach just yet. I feel like that's kind of the initiation of the play after they figure out what's going on. Flank is going to be held by Perry as usual, just on the Omen, not the Astra this time. They do see a wall in front. That's not going to be activated just yet. The site take comes in from New Turn, and they've made great ground.
Yes, they have indeed, as Penny and Celsius are both out. Now Lao, the same spot we saw Penny in just a couple of moments ago, trying to control...
Markonix Z, kad stavim Z na kraju slučajno.
Trying to clear things out as well, and they're gonna have to bust a move here relatively soon. Good investment.
Šta znam, meni oni nož ok što trebam to shop.
Here they go. Vanity flying across the screen. It's actually Effie's that does it. Balakia cleans him up. Jamie's still up atop in heaven. He's left alone.
Da, od Sekira je stvarno dobra.
For long. So new turn win the pistol, a very important pistol.
Nicely done too. In the end there, still having a bit of utility, using it correctly. I thought they might have got caught out with the single peeks they did on elbow right here.
On izlazi smoka I tačno zna da lik tu čuči, bro.
He gets his feet a little wet in the Viper's bite.
Pazi, oni sad ovo odigrali ekstra šta, kad pogledaš, bro.
So that's a new turn.
Ekstra.
That's a pistol round coming in. They're usually able to secure these. Are the shotties there? Always for Vanity. Always got a
Šta samo meni ripalo?
But it is not going to be the
Pa izgleda da.
Koliko
Koliko vidim radi stream ekstra.
Split is not a game you can start messing with econ on. The moment you start going down on econ, the map.
Pa brate, meni ovdje ne piše da mi je ripo streama, ono šta mi je. Bukvalno piše da ništa se nije desilo.
That was borderline.
Refreshao ti se live, zašto to?
He did get one, but it got traded out.
Vidi koliko traje, pa meni piše da traje 11 minuta, ono. To je nešto za trova. Ne, nije to do mene 100%. Vidiš na YouTube sve okej.
That is the story a lot of the times, huh?
Do trova je to.
Along with ALOO here. ALOO's like, I don't want to go down, so I'm going to go ahead and hold this Spectre. I'll be the last one to peek. Perry says, on me. Full health, full kill. Nice little round there for themselves. See what they actually keep in terms of guns. Suggest did have that shotty in hand that he picked up. The Bucky for himself. And again, there you can see very much a team game across the board for the side of version 1, trying to pull it together. Jammies, your information, grab it on the other side of the map. Usually trying to figure out the 1v1s and keep the post plants going on. The rest of the team playing well. Effie's now not on his Sova. We are seeing a little bit less of an impact there, but it's not like they're like, oh, he shouldn't play Sova. He's just Sage this time, and it's almost a necessity. This wall right here is so big for shutting down a strategy in its tracks.
Za mi svi su bili nabratično jači.
Šta
vi ja ne smijem izgubiti ovo. Ovo je, brate, Koreja, brate, protiv Amerikanca, pazi.
And while that is how things panned out, they weren't able to get the kills. Lakia dashing across your screen. Effie's holds fast, good for one. The paranoia comes out as he has to reposition. Reload, no, not gonna matter.
Pa oni su opet ušli na, brate, jebeš iz zidi, sve ništa nije bitno, šta?
Now, for new turn, they have some control.
Još ovaj prolazi kroz ropes.
And Perry on the swing, he was holding such a pivotal part, but no, he gets cleaned up.
Da li oni znaju da ide kroz ropes, a? Ili da znaju? Ili ne?
Oh, and he's hearing everything live.
He's taking the last move.
A videli.
He's got a chance at something, but no, now his position's been given away.
Oni ne mogu da prođu, gledaj. Gledaj ti koliko traje to samo, ono. Bravo. I žive, pazi. Šta im je uradio lik, brate, alo? Još šta im je lik uradio sad, ja ne mogu da verujem. Da, čim se završava mapu, kreće doma.
Vanity's seeing solo behind. That should have been the rest of version 1 in the site. Completely collapsing on the members that were there. But for ALOO and Suggest to be able to hold those angles, even they
baš mi je bila bitna ova runda.
Yes. They were on the edge of their
69, brat. How?
On knife's edge for sure. 9-6 though. New turn getting a bit of a lead.
They are now version 1 are on a broken buy again. You've got the judge.
Da, oni su eko. Au, brat.
Meanwhile, new turn. Far more bang behind their punches. They've got full rifles across the board. You see,
ovdje ih čeka judge.
You've seen a little bit of a look towards A, but that's really been it so far from the side of new turn as they've leaned towards B. You see Jamie's taking some of that space away. The dash across the site, the paranoia that follows, ALOO goes up from the top ropes, and it's actually Zelsis' Nano Swarm that's able to get the opening pick. ALOO with 18 health left. Certainly sitting dicey, and they know he's there, but they're not going to clear it. They're not going to clear it. ALOO's still okay.
Šta? Okej.
Just to shake off the concussion.
Oni su mogli da uzmu ovo na Iko rundu. Pazi, još uvijek mogu. Da. Definitivno mogu, ima fantoma, ladno. Ovo je bio loš spell stao, realno. Bravo. Okej, ipak će da uzmu Iko rundu. Hau, brat, kako ti je izvukao Viper sad? Zamisli, brate, oni su izgubili Iko, brate, ne mogu da verujem ono.
What a round there. And a much necessary
Viš, rado mi
round.
se
You
stvarno
can
ne
see the thrifty
flashova live,
coming up
ono.
on your screen as they make it happen. And now they have a few guns to be working with on the round. We'll recap this one right here. The push around from Jammies. I mean, the guy sets up the same wall they set up on attack. He's like, this feels comfortable. Now we're going to go ahead and do something else.
Baš su prodali, da. Ukoliko Fnatic igra, čim završi ova mapa.
Jammies.
Čim se ova mapa završi da Fnatic.
Making it work. He's like, no, like we were ever going to lose that one. What's the setup here? Across the map, it's split. We do have the spike right now away from the rest of New Turn, so expect this one to be drawn out a bit and a bit more of a default play from New Turn Gaming.
Also note that Lakia is the only one without a rifle or a Spectre even, right? He's only got the Sheriff.
Are they focusing his ult here? Yeah, he's getting ult.
And that's, this is like full-on entry, full-on commit, right? They've got the Rolling Thunder. They have the Showstopper as well. There was a recon mission to try to grab that ult orb to get Lakia's ultimate online, and they've succeeded, right? So check one, or excuse me, box one on this to-do list checked. There's still a long way to go, though.
Okay, taking down the wall. Always imperative. If a wall is in your game, put a hole in it, people. Make that Sage sweat a little bit. Never just leave the wall up. That's weird. That's weird. Tips for all. PSA. Oh, baby.
And it wasn't with the Rolling Thunder. The Rolling Thunder was actually elsewhere. The Paranoid is going to follow up. Alakia gets a kill onto Effie's anyway. Zelsis somehow has gotten behind them. Spots parry, denies any other entry, and that includes the spike. Now that sideline has been given up. Now
Kako mi je čudna ona, brat.
in.
Ja health imali igrat.
1 HP.
Ali opet ima najjači gun igric.
Looking to make something happen. There's a gravity well. Vanity dodging. Fancy footwork around the utility to trying to keep him back. As the spike has gone down. Keep an eye on Perry on the minimap. Work in the middle. As good for one. On top of the Viper Spit. They are fully committing to taking this site back. Lakia has to back up. The op with 1 HP. Doesn't matter. He's good for it. Eventually gets cleaned up. Jamie's gets one as well. The defuse is there. Suggests.
Brate, kako su oni dobro odigrali u stvari, šta?
Surely.
Realno kad pogledaš ono. 9-8, brate. Jebo, stvarno su do jaja odigrali ovo, šta? Ovi treba da idu na, brate, za ne konte i ono šta. Mislim, isto su A 3 puta uzeli su svaku rundu i sad su došli na B 2 puta, a ove runde su izgubili, no. Ali realno mnogo lakše da upadneš na B. Vidiš, ovaj lik je čak i sebe hitno s ultima, ne bom prilično. Desio kome, džađa.
New Turn doing such a nice job of breaking these sites open, getting in. I love the rolling thunder. Hey, sometimes you gotta ask. I love the rolling thunder coming in. Unintentional reposition of the Killjoy turret, which didn't activate as much on people running in. So it was Zelsis not getting as much information on what was happening. Unintentional, but still a really neat aspect of that last round. And Vanity being Vanity, you know, hyping it up, spicing things up as well. And he has some questions for his opponents.
Ne znam nije s kim on priča.
So if your version, yeah, well, if you're New Turn here.
Menta, ti si u nekom promašiti stream, ja mislim, ja ne spraviš ti.
Ultimates from version 1 to take that site back, and it was a good entry, right? You also invested the Showstopper, you also invested the Rolling Thunder, but now you're broke. Right, like you're busted. You've got Lakia with the Sheriff, and you've got ALOO on a little something. But really, what are you looking to do here, Riv? Ideally,
stvarno automatik, ne mogu biti dužan to.
Honestly, it would hopefully be more than that.
Doma igra čim se završi ova mapa, znači.
Rounds that can start to swap the game back and forth. Let's take a look at the econ here as it comes through. That's 2 rounds right now for version 1. So that means this round loss is $2,900 on top of New Turn's money. More than enough credits to be purchasing on that side. If version 1 gets reset, they get
Svejedno, oni će idu eko, brate.
which could actually put them in a spot where they're not finding all of the utility they need, right? That's $2,600 for jammies, if that comes to fruition on this. He purchased a gun this round, $7,200. So there's been a drop already for version 1. You said this round could be pivotal. These rounds could be pivotal, and it gets even more as it goes.
Hoće se ubiti Vijan, ono, Ameri. Ne znam, brate. Ali Koreanci prošlu mapu šta su to radili, ja sam gledao, ali nisam to streamovao. Bilo je 13-13, pobjedili su 15-13, ali ja mislim.
Every T crossed, every I dotted. The heaviness of the moment as these teams are just quietly playing through, understanding that this is a pivotal round for economy for both teams.
Derke. Pa on ima na neki način...
In the upper bracket here in Masters Reykjavik.
Sjebam malo, brate.
They've tested the waters B, they cleared some stuff.
Ma da, ja mislim da je on izgubio, brate, ono što najjače. On je prvi umro 4 runde za redom. Naj zbog zadnje 2 runde isto umro.
Right, like you're working down ramps, you're working through sewers, you're trying to take some of the middle of the map away. That has not been the case. That was terrifying. That was jump scare stuff right there.
I was not ready for that. I'm glad the players are still vibing right now because, man, this is intense. All right, coming back, testing the water. Penny says 1, Blade Storm out.
It's a fake, though. It's a fake, though. Solo's going to invest the lockdown, but the spike is still on the other side. It's Vanity who's alone. Celsius is close by.
I feel like this is one of Vanity's judge situations, but he's got the Phantom.
Celsius backed up. I don't think Celsius spotted him. But the trigger discipline.
Neser.
For 1, Vanity from, Celsius from up top gets it as well. Nobody bites on the fake. The clock is going to expire without the spike going down. A couple of members still alive on the side of New Turn. Of course, as I say that, ALOO gets cleaned up, but we're tied up at 9 apiece. Version 1 from Finances should be sitting pretty.
10 seconds left.
That it should. We did see that, a bit of a round where New Turn wants to get the spike down. They run in a bit willy-nilly without having too much to invest, keeping the econ for further rounds now that we are 9-9. Noticing Penny did go down,
previše pametno, ajde smiri se. Spusti loptu.
He has been focusing quite a bit for the team to be getting these frags. We saw his Sovas on Ascent, his plays before on Haven. He is somebody to definitely get the impact frags for the team. And instantly walled off as you saw them play that to be a quick smoke play, but didn't work. He was trying to hit the utility window that version 1 uses.
And again, a quiet start to this round, as you mentioned, the Viper's Wall delaying some of that initial aggression from New Turn. They do have the From the Shadows in the hands of Perry, and we've seen him use that for info gathering really every time this map, excuse me. Now we'll see how things play out. Is V1, V1's not getting a lot of information here either, Riv. This is very much like a wait, patiently see things out. Look at where Jammies is right now. I often call that the discipline corner, right? Because it's rare. You have to, when you're dashing across site to get entry on A, you have to look there, and it's actually kind of sickening how frequently that box goes unchecked.
And it's a perfect play here from what could be from Penny as he draws the attention.
That was loud.
Jammies has a field day. Yeah, that was pretty loud. Breach has some big old feet. So they're going to get themselves into a slight position here. And this is where we saw New Turn as well, kind of leaving the map open. They're like, you know, middle of the map's open. Let's play it. And now it's going to be that play towards the A Heaven side. Effie's ready and waiting.
Ulazi na, to je to što. Ne, on ima 11 sekundi. Au, kako ga nisu proverili tu?
To clean him up, but with 4 seconds left, they've got to hurry up. He's getting delayed. He's not going to have time. The gravity wall keeps him off. Perry's not able to get the spike planted.
Ne mogu da verujem. Samo jedno mesto nisu proverili, alo. Jedno mesto, brate.
With a bit of a pause strat there, they balk once they get
Mnogo čekaju, brate, ono. Obe runde su probali za njih 10 sekundi da urade nešto.
It was almost reminiscent of a New Turn double pump, back and forth, and then hit. But they kind of said, all right, well, now is the time to go. And the first people jumping in are all looking at the same thing. No one really had a corner to look at. It was kind of just in the moment, which meant there wasn't as much utility usage as there could have been. And all A entry from Heaven is a little weird, too, to regain.
Yeah. So oftentimes when you see teams approach, have that style like Newturn just did, it's intended to cause questioning on the defensive half and to make them unsure about themselves. But the discipline that we've seen out of version 1 to maintain their angles, to not give up an inch, and to be patient, not aggressively peek a corner, has been what's really made this approach from Newturn ineffective, entirely ineffective.
Šta je sa Domom? Doma igra posle ovog gejma. Posle ove mape. Jel vidiš da ne piše ni ide Fnatic, ono, tako da po tome možda znaš da ne igra Fnatic trenutno. 3.5 kvota na njih. A Fnatic i ovi, koliko je tamo kvota?
Newturn now works it over towards mid. Looks like they will finally meet up with Solo. The captain, or not the captain, I'm sorry. The kind of that brain they listen to is suggest is your captain, your leader there. So, but yeah, they're making their way back over.
So Effys puts up that wall up in A heaven, and version 1 rotate off because they have the safety of that. As soon as that wall went up, and as soon as Newturn saw the wall rift, Newturn rotated into A, expecting that version 1 was going to pull off, and they should have a numbers advantage on the site, and that's why they're sticking to the
paranoid on Penny.
Jammies goes entirely
Ma
undetected
kak, brate, ne mogu oni ništa da urade.
On the side of Newturn with 13 seconds left. There's not enough time to go elsewhere. There is no plan B.
Nema ni vremena da plantaju.
7 seconds left. Effy's trying to be the last line of defense, but Solo mows his way through what version 1 had set up.
Okay, imaju vremena. Plantali su bombu, ljudi.
And Zelsis are showing up a bit late to the party as the spike goes down. He has the Cosmic Divide, so he's got some utility. He's got a little something. They have a chance.
They've used the Cosmic Divide to get into a site last through, but I think without more than 2 viewpoints.
Te ne mogu gledati ovo.
Oh my word! It's going to be
A
Vanity
daj
in the back, Doug. We always see that trolling and tricking people into firing, but even under recoil control. Woohoo, Zelsis. Eagle eyes the head off his opponent. 11 to 9. A gap is created now by version 1 here on split over Newturn. And we're coming up to round 21.
Dude, that was filth. I imagine we're going to see that again. There was actually so much that was big there. Suggest dying. Zelsis peeking off of his turret. And somehow that happens onto Solo. You think you really hate to see if you're a fan of Newturn because you look at that and go, really? Really, that shot, that happened?
I rate that harder than Cypher No Hat and Purple Reyna. Boom. That's how hard that shot is. All right, getting into the next round.
Newturn showing a heavy presence towards A, but not peeking out. It's actually Jammies who's got the op here. Normally in the hands
of moguće da 1-11, brate, koji kurac ono. U fazonu kao 100% pobjeda.
Oh, I think he did spot that. I think he spotted ALOO.
Oh, here.
Yep.
Just enough.
Oh man, the pressure, right? The paranoia, everything is thrown his way, and he has to back up. He has to give that space up.
Little flash dash combo. You always love to see it start off a round. Pressure the opposing team. Let's see if they have a secondary. What's the secondary util now? The first bit of area was gained. As we look at Newturn pretty critically here for this round. Seeing that first strat, allowed space to be gained by ALOO, and now they'll try to keep coming up. Already the play from Solo towards mid as they hold the rotation too. So waiting on the patience here, but each round has been that last 30 seconds, Doug.
And Riv, it's not even just the Solo getting control. The wall was up from Effys. They cleared it out, and that pulls Effys back over because they wanted to go A. The Rolling Thunder comes out on top of the showstopper as Lakia gets onto Penny. Jammies with the op, still alive.
Znači, ako staviš 1000 dinara, brate, na Fnatic, dobit ćeš 1111 dinara. Ako staviš 1000 dinara, brate, na ove druge, dobit ćeš 6000 dinara.
There's a chance at something there, but the sightlines are so tight. There's the cover that I was talking about. The Cosmic Divide comes up. But they still have to try to peek around that res. They bring Penny online. Lakia is so tempted to work around it. And he doesn't do it, but ALOO does. Solo drops as ALOO with the Blade Storm gets snatched out of the sky. Not able to provide any impact. The paint did that. Lakia, the flash onto Suggest.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Uzeli su rundu posle 5.
Amazing stuff. The Cosmic Divide not ruffling the feathers of Newturn
Najbitniju
all
rundu
that
su uzeli.
much, knowing it would allow
Ali
version
bukvalno,
1 onto the
najbitniju
site.
rundu su
They
sad uzeli.
just set up to watch version 1 walk through and the shots they were able to make, the plays they were able to hit. Beautifully done on that stop there. And overall, Doug, this got me laughing because what other ultimate can you throw the Rolling Thunder at than Showstopper? Ray doesn't give a crap if she's concussed in there. She's still hitting a rocket shot. So that amount of chaos just does not leave you any choice. I love that play from Nijedan.
Vidiš da ne igra Fnatic
well played
trenutno.
Indeed, and that's going to bridge the gap down to 1 round lead for version 1. As you see, Jamies has invested the Viper's Pit right off the bat to control entry onto A. Imagine we'll see a wall from Effie's here soon.
Doma igra za nekih
either across
10
mid
minuta.
or entry past male. And what that really does is that's forcing U-turn into a spot where it's like, all right, dude, do you have the balls to push into the Viper's Pit? Probably not. Do you want to work through the wall? You don't know what's on the other side. So they have to funnel A towards B into garage. And look at all the utility, right? They're even set up to where when allowed dashes across, which is a very common entry for Jett. Where's she dashing into? All of the utility, all of the nanoswarms, everything that's there. With that in mind, they're still considering hitting it, but there's just no easy entry in, Rev.
And also, we have not mentioned it much throughout this. Obviously, Vanity's Astra, Harry's Omen, but you also see what the Astra's doing to stop the flow of play along with Sage Orbs, along with everything else they can throw in there. It's not just an Omen Smoke or Paranoia, so you can see how much more it's kind of adding to being able to gravity well, being able to Nebula. Penny's been there the whole time, never move an inch, finds the first one.
Oh my gosh, it's a meat grinder!
Majko moja, šta oni njima rade, brate? Koliko oni čekaju, brate, dugo, sorry.
Into version 1's lap, and that puts them at map point, that puts them at series point.
The way version 1 takes control, and still at this level, their opponent is just dumbfounded at the moment when they walk around the corner, is one of the reasons they're here. When you're amazing the casters, when you're amazing everybody else, and you're pulling out stuff like this, it's just the wow factor, and it's a consistent thing coming from version 1, and it might allow them to topple their opponents in new turn here in this game point.
Dude, I could break down that round. I could talk about that round for probably an hour. There was just so much that version 1 did well, but now new turn, they've got the lockdown ready to go. They're leaning towards A as they fight to keep this map alive. Map 2 went into overtime, and this looks like it very well could as well. But for new turn, you've got to come up big. You've got to come up real big. You see the investment of utility already, right? Like, they've invested the Roomba, now they've invested the lockdown, and because of that, look at how version 1 are creeping across the middle of the map. The Sage Wall has blocked off mid. Vanity has full control of ropes and vents. They have defensive spawn as well. They know where they're going. And for new turn, they're going to have to push their way into it. Are they going to hunt him down?
Bravo!
Wins it anyway. He's gonna get
Bravo, bre, doktore, to je to šta.
As
12-11.
1 are down to 2 members remaining. Now it is Zelsis, and it is Penny.
Vidiš, oni su tačno znali gde je svaki igrač tu.
Up until this point, that's what he has
Šta
played.
pušaš, bre, koji ti đavo, brate.
On the Killjoy, can you have the same effect?
Penny onto Perry, 3v2. Still a decent amount of time to get over to the spike, but it doesn't look like it's going to be happening on this round 4v1.
Huh. Yeah, they're just going to pull off. Zelsis will try to save whatever weaponry he can into the next round. As you see, members of New Turn, both Suggest and Lockyer are going to carry a rifle in as well. And Riv, we find ourselves at this pivotal juncture.
12-11.
Where we're one round away from overtime.
OT for me, please. Let's see it. Oh my word, what a game so far. And the play, honestly, maybe just losing the moment or what was going on to have that ult be able to grab somebody on it could but to not be able to play off of what you're trying to set up on your opponent and just fall prey to everything they wanted. It's not a good look. We get one from each though, right? Version 1's round before that slaughtered New Turn. New Turn bringing it right back to him, delivering the same medicine. As now the setup across the map does put Penny with the operator on B. You have Effie's over near heaven of B, under there just to get the slows on. So this is your stop power over here on the B site. Oh, now they know there's an op though.
Yeah, dude, you see that smoke to deny that exact play right there. The wall goes up and you think
A on ima ulti
you
sad.
have a little bit more freedom. You
Zato
think
su
to
oni
swing
to
around
odigrali,
that
brate.
and get ult orb, but the smoke from
Ray sad
excuse
ima
me, from
ulti.
Perry buys enough space for them to get that ult orb into their pocket, and now they're going to turn their attention
Ovamo ima samo
over
Penny
A with
ulti.
just under a minute left on the clock. They have the showstopper. Perry's going to have his From the Shadows as well.
I would love to see that From the Shadows go towards the back with a showstopper following.
Yep.
Almost immediate chaos once again. They're going to hold everything for now. Showstopper is actually going into heaven. Sorry, into sight, I
Bravo,
should say.
taj je dead.
And that's going to be Zelsus going down to start.
Zelsus was the only one on the site. They invested a considerable amount to get on there. We mentioned the showstopper. We mentioned the From the Shadows. Those have been used. But version 1 are still
Ali
in a
ovi će da
decent
probaju
spot to be
sigurno,
able to take
brate,
this
ono.
thing back. Penny has an operator.
Prošlu mapu su izgubili ovako,
That's a big
pazi.
kill. Suggest needs to win
Ako
that
dve
round.
mape,
Suggest needed to win that.
What?
Vanity on the rope. Literally on the rope, manages to win that gunfight to bring us down to 4 apiece. Version 1, the clock continues to tick away. You're going to have to go here, and you're going to have to go soon. ALOO takes care of Penny. It was a dogfight in disguise, as Latios is good for 1 as well. Solo playing around it. No, he gets mowed down through the smoke, as it's a 2v2. Perry in a great spot. Latios in a good spot
Dobro,
as
okej.
well, baby.
Dobro
If
su,
it wasn't
12-12.
enough the first time we're doing it,
Au,
we're
brate,
going to
opet, da li je
overtime.
moguće? Dve mape za redom, brate, alo. Ne znam kako se prva mapa odigrala, ono. A prošla mapa je bila isto ovako.
Topped, and we are now seeing them leave everything on the map. I cannot wait to see what they even pull out in these overtime rounds. Seeing what Neutron was going through in map 1 made this series, Doug, we have to recap, made this series seem like it was version 1's from the beginning. But that was never the case. Neutron knew they could come back. They had the strats. At times, they have made version 1 play their game. And now both teams, again, like you said, meet each other in the overtime. It's now, is it the op? Do they bring it back out? They will not. It's going to be full buys all around with rifles, full armor, as they're not leaving anything to chance. Tactical timeout here coming in from Neutron to start off our overtime round. But will it be version 1 entering this tournament with the sub of Jammies, surprising the world, or the Kingslayers of Korea to move on in the upper bracket, taking down Damwon Kia to get here, taking down Vision Strikers to get here.
Odvrli su ih, brate, prvo glavo.
13-3
je bila prva mapa.
It couldn't have ended any other way.
No, absolutely not. I think the one thing that we have to keep in mind here is as we go into overtime, as we think about how each side played out for both teams.
Imate bokse, ljudi, rešite, da.
We're very effective.
Ima 2 boksa moja I 1 boks u trovo, tako nešto.
6-6 half, which is not common on split. That means they have really had something
Da,
going for
Liquid
them
igra
on the attacking
protiv
side. Now version 1 is going to be starting the overtime on attack. We'll see what Neutron can do. We'll see what kind of adjustments they have to make, really, to stifle the aggression that version 1 showed that got them to a 6-6 half.
And this is where you get to use everything, Doug. This is where everybody looks at utility usage. Everybody looks at how you're playing these rounds out, because it's now up to you. It's not up to the econ. It's just providing you this round. You're not out of Molly. What will you be able to do with everything? And that's one of the parts I love, is these are the strats these teams have orchestrated for OTs. It's kind of like the penalty shot. What do they have? What secret is it to get that one round in their favor?
Okay, so slight adaptation, but a similar look from Neutron early on. The fault line into garage, the smoke from Perry to deny information, but it's a slight miss. So Vanity's actually able to check that back corner that's been so problematic for Vanity and for the rest of V1 on that first half. Now they have full control there. Yes, Zelsus dropped. We'll see what Vanity can do to exploit things. And oh my gosh, Jammies has as well.
Great push there as they were coming back, able to get up and get a bit on a Zelsus and Jammies.
That's a terrifying crossfire.
Vanity's still working it. The crossfire in A2 as well by Neutron, terrifying. It's going to be tough for this to actually make something work. Great positioning by version 1 here, but yeah, that's a difficult one.
Riv, that Arumba somehow didn't detect the 2 members of V1 as they pushed through, and now they're actually coming in from behind. There's an excellent pinch because of what Vanity was able to do, but Vanity has to come up big here. He's already gotten one.
Šta se čulo last player standing, ono?
But he's in a 1v3. Yeah, he's gonna get cleaned up. The concerns that we had about Neutron on the defensive half have for now been stifled as they take the lead.
Woo.
Šta se dešava, brate?
See what happens here as we check the replay. Word. That kind of play, it
Koji
puts a
kurac
smile
ono?
on my
A
face.
se zbagalo,
Because
brat.
it's in the mind of your opponent. And that's how you always have to be playing. The moment you're thinking, I need to nade, I need to move up, you're already 2 steps behind your opponent. You always need to be thinking, are they moving? What are they doing? And yeah, they're moving. Here comes ALOO.
Full-on aggression, but again, it's a bait. You see ALOO has made a whole lot of noise towards A, but the spike is quietly making its way towards B and Riv. I mentioned the discipline that version 1 showed in regulation, but now they've
Au, kako ću da plače kad vidim chat ako pobede ovi. Ako Koreanci pobede, ljudi.
Really for free, unless Zelsis can cause some heroics. He's already taken care of Lakia. What else does he have left in him?
Quick turret up.
Ima neko ulti uopšte?
Flank now by ALOO. Waiting very, very patiently for any noise. They're not going to give it to him just yet. It looks like the flank won't be had by version 1 as they come back into the site here, but it is going to be
Ko je to za pritisak, brat?
for ALOO as here comes the retake.
Misli, oni ako ne defaju tu bombu izgubili su. Idu kući ono. Bravo. Hahaha, GG, brate. Ili? Ajde. Kako mi je drago. Kako mi je drago.
Adapting, finding the ways in. Oh,
znači, nemate pojma kako mi je drago što je Koreanci pobedi.
Oh my word. Woo, well, you know what? I hear that. I hear that. What a game. Version 1 taken down by the Kingslayers coming out of Korea. New Turn Gaming. And they did it in fierceful, aggressive fashion after their first mishap on Haven.
They've been crying.
Penny there, like, dude, how many times has Penny been good in that moment, right? Like, peeking through with the not able to land at this time. And Zelsis, while he tried getting things back, he was able to get one. It just wasn't enough. The aggression that we saw out of New Turn in overtime really took care of business. And you can tell, man, the boys, they're riding on cloud 9 right now. You saw the ears cut off. We've seen a couple of references to that already. And it's all in good fun, don't get me wrong, but man, New Turn, they're feeling so good right now.
And this could be, or will be now, a lower bracket run for Vision 1.
Evo ga doma, ljudi. Ovo je dom moj ovdje.
There's the love. Everybody's so happy. Lakia representing Korea. We saw a lot of big plays from him. At the end of the day, all of New Turn came together. The tack pause jumps that they were able to come off of after talking it out, figuring out and triaging what was going wrong, those tack pauses really counted for New Turn Gaming. And the way they started to understand speed and execution after drawing out version 1 across the map is what started to win them a lot of their rounds on Ascent.
Da li je Doma pobedio? Jel si vidio Fnatic negdje ovdje? Kako vi ne vidite, ljudi, onako?
Yeah, you can feel like this death ball. Right, starting to roll up much like we saw against Sharks, and it was certainly closer than it was against Sharks. But the outcome really was the same, right? And there's so much that New Turn can build off of here, because think about the storylines heading into this. We've talked about this on the desk. How good is Korea at a tactical FPS? You know, they're very good at other games, but much like North America, the region has been riddled with doubt. So for New Turn, that's such a big win. For them to find themselves here, they were one of those like dark horses, right? Who they're just on the cusp. They can make a deep run and
Sad kreće, vrate, bitan meč, ono, jebeš se ovo.
I always thought they were definitely a strong team. Scrimbucks or not, or what people are saying. Looking at the utility usage of Korea, I mean, you rolling Thunder to Showstopper. It's like an extra blast pack for the Rays. I love seeing that. Spice it up. Let's go. They definitely came out deserving that win.
They absolutely did. What a series. New Turn is going to advance to play the other North American team in Sentinels. While version 1 is still alive, as you mentioned, they're still going to have an opportunity to make a lower bracket run. Stick around, folks, as Dash is going to be standing by with New Turn Suggests to break down this epic matchup in our Verizon post-match interview. You're not going to want to miss it.
Šta se dešava? Brate, Sentinel igra protiv Koreanaca, alo? Što je ripa live, brate? Evo ga radi sad. Znači ovo je ovdje finale sad već, pazite to. I to se igra sutra u 10. Doma igra sutra u 5, brate. Je li ovo bio winner bracket? Da. Upper, kako god. Ne, nije, brate. Ovo sad si gledao? Jeste u stvari, da. Više ne znam ni sam. Sad ide lower. Sad ide Fnatic, pa onda ide Liquid. Čak i sutra će već da se zna i ko je... Aha. Vidiš, znači ko izgubi sad ovdje ide od dole. U lower finale. Još ima na YouTube. Samo što nešto bago je opasno. Mene zazaneti ili šta je ovo? Stream, izleti koliko ima streamova, brate. Ima Valorant Rusija, brate. Full match, map 1, map 2, map 3, kao što je sve ima da se vidi. Brate, znaš šta je fora što Fnatic, a ovo će da dobije Fnatic sigurno. Ali sutra. Protiv Amera. Ne znam, X10 Esports, šta su oni? Vidjet.
They freaking did it, folks. New turn topple North American Giants version 1, sending them to the lower bracket. Welcome back to the studio, folks. Golden Boy here with my colleagues. We have Veli, Lothar,
A ovo
and
niko nije očekivao od ovih.
They move
Bukvalno.
forward.
Niko
Let's
od
move
ovih
forward
nije
with our
očekivao
prime
sigurno.
gaming highlights. Achilleos, pop off, Seth King. Just pop off.
Pogotovo ne
What do you wanna
protiv
say?
one prve map.
You know, I don't mind if I do at all. I am ready to take a look back through these highlights. Good God. I mean, down to the wire. I asked about it, you know, at the beginning. Can we please get another OT? I said I was feeling it. The teams delivered on it. A lot of things that I'm sure we'll see throughout these highlights is we could have completely avoided OT. This could have been a much cleaner win for New Turn if Solo just learned how to look left and right from time to time. Did not do a lot of corner checking, got punished pretty heavily throughout, so they definitely could have played this a lot better, but they get the win in the end. This is Korea in the top 3. So many people out there, well, I've been casting this region all year long. I've been saying Koreans can't aim, blah, 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 blah. They never play tech FPS. Shove it right back into your face.
Kad igra doma, evo sad kreće.
Don't say that anymore. They have proven that they are one of the best regions out there. New Turn is one of the best teams in the goddamn world. Put some respect on
Čim
their
se ovo
name.
završi,
You try
kreće
to
doma.
pull any of that stuff again in the future, I'm coming for you. I'm not gonna stand for it.
This is clearly a
He
taste.
deserves it, man.
He does. He stuck to his guns. He stuck to his guns when everyone else turned their backs on New Turn. It was always Achilleos there as well. I'm sure Paperthin felt the exact same way. But, you know, Valley Man, is Solo was the talk for a lot of us during the game itself because, you know, and Achilleos, you mentioned it, you know, funnily enough, right? Like, you know, sometimes you got to look left and right. I mean, look, folks, check your corners. You know, I mean, that's just Valorant 101. But that's not to take anything away from Solo, though, because despite that, though, he made some, like, freaking mega brain plays at times. There was this one play in Heaven Valley that I know you wanted to talk about.
Yes, in production. If you guys have it, please feel free to throw up the replay. Solo, despite him almost giving Lothar and Achilleos just heart attacks with the first deaths and all, right? This play showed why Solo is the ultimate teammate. Take a look at where he is on the map, right? So Solo, the moment he goes up here, yes, he hears a turret, knows where his teammates are, but he doesn't rush out for the easy kills. This isn't an NA thing that they do in Korea, right? Waited for the right moment, but take a look at where ALOO is. He utilizes a utility, gives up his position for his teammates. This buys so much time for ALOO, and look who's going to be behind ALOO. It's going to be Solo. The utility is going to come into play, and with the gunplay there, it allowed this entire roster to just smack up version 1. There you go. Penny, he's down, he's dead. Vanity can't do nothing. Jammies has no shot at all. And New Turn flipped the switch. What we saw from this team, especially in that last round, the execution is clean as hell. You don't see that anywhere else. This team, even though they're going up against Sentinels, I am very scared for what this team has in the future.
Yeah. It's always kind of been that way, you know, in the Korean region. They've always been able to really pull off some great mechanical plays and, you know, chain things together, you know, making sure that they have blinds, they have cover when they go out for these peaks. And, you know, we've seen some even kind of like newer tech here in this game with the, you know, the Rolling Thunder blast pack out onto the site on A. So they're still showing us some new things that we're not seeing, you know, be used very prevalently, I guess, as far as strats are concerned.
In general, I'm very impressed by Newton because even with the slow player play that they presented here, they still had been strategically playing really well. There was a lot of small synergies being used, like just like mentions the killers, that rolling thunder for the third satchel. I think Riv also mentioned that was a big play. Lakia, I think he's the MVP of the match, at least for me. He did double kill on the ascent jump, like that was nuts. But those opening rounds that he did on split, even if he doesn't get a kill with the show super, which actually was happening because he was getting those kills. So he was opening space. He was creating so much space for his team to follow him up that they were actually able to get those rounds in. And on defense, he was instrumental as well. Like, it's actually crazy how much impact he had, but I have to say Solo, because I was looking forward to this player before we went into the match. You need to step it up. You need to be more careful because he had 11 first deaths over the course of the 3 maps, and most of the deaths were also just because he was lazy, like with the checking of the angles, but there was also a lot of unnecessary deaths when he was lurking, even if there wasn't a first death. But hey, both teams, fantastical, like, and an absolute beast of a match. I was enjoying it.
Yeah,
right?
Fantastic showing. I mean, top to bottom, it was incredible. We were all on pins and needles, but none more so than the players that were on that stage. And thankfully, we have one of them standing by as Dash is ready with our Verizon post-match interview with Suggest.
Thank you so much, Golden Boy. I am joined by Suggest after what became an absolutely amazing series, down to the wire, and a nail-biter, to say the least. David is going to help us out with some translations. First things first, because it did become such a close series with double overtime across 2 maps, I want to know how you're feeling coming off of that victory.
두 번의 연장전을 이어서 드디어 시리즈가 끝났는데요. 이 모든 맵을 치르고 나서의 지금 심정이 어떠신가요?
심정이야 일단은 두말 할 거 없이 일단 너무 좋고요. 솔직히 저는 시청자분들 입장에서 진짜 여태까지 제일 재밌는 경기를 보여준 것 같아요. 지금 이 현재 하고 있는 대회.
Pa ne priča na engleskom, je tako?
오늘만큼 재밌는 경기는
Pa
없어요.
da, znao se.
I'm super excited, and even from a viewer's perspective, I think we showed the fans the most exciting game of Masters so far. Not just today, but throughout the tournament.
As a viewer myself, I think I can confirm that notion, but as you might be riding high right now, I have to imagine how you were feeling coming out of the first map on Haven. It was a bit of a crushing defeat. However, that said, there were a couple really good rounds, and it felt like you specifically were leading the charge when it came to the energy for the team. But how did you guys recover between map 1 and map 2?
1번 맵을 조금 아쉽게 패배를 하셨었는데요. 1번 맵 끝나고 나서 어떤 마음가짐으로 2번 맵에 임하셨고, 특히 2번 맵에서는 서지 선수가 직접 나서서 좀 많은 킬을 하는 장면들이 나왔었는데 어떤 마음가짐으로
일단은 기본적으로 저는 첫 번째 맵은 너무 저희가 준비가 많이 안 됐어요. 그러니까 유럽 선수들, 팀들에 대한 조합에 좀 저희가 많이 밀리는 조합이라 솔직히 첫 번째 경기는 많이 좀 밀리면서 솔직히 그냥 다 털어버리고 이 경기 잘하자라는 생각밖에 없었어요.
I think for map 1, we really weren't ready for the comp that V1 brought into Haven. Having said that, after game 1, we just let it go and we decided not to think about it and continue on with map 2 and 3.
That seemed to work. And as you speak about composition, that's where my next question lies. And it's kind of across both maps, particularly there on Ascent. I saw the major difference being that you guys ran Sky, which gives you some flash and blinding capabilities, whereas version 1 didn't seem to run any. Carry that over across many of the maps that we've seen North America play, and they seem to favor Astra far more than the Korean region. So I'm just kind of curious, your take overall on the meta and which agents are necessary.
요원 조합 관련돼서 좀 여쭤보고 싶은데요. 어센트 같은
Zamislite
경우는
se oni
스카이를
izgubili
활용하시면서 이제
i s čemu ovaj
플래시가
prodio
있는
ono.
요원을
Došao
선택하셨고
da se pročitao.
반면에
바로
비원은
좀
그렇지
빠르.
않았고요. 그리고 전반적으로 NA 지역은 아스트라라는 요원을 굉장히 선호하는 것 같은데 한국은 좀 그렇지 않은 것 같아요. 아직 메타가. 그래서 이런 전반적인 요원 메타에 대해서 어떻게 생각하시나요?
일단은 저희가 유럽 북미와 다르게 스카이랑 이제 좀 플래시 캐릭터들 많이 쓰는 이유는 일단 어센트는 맵이 넓고 시간을 쓰면 쓸수록 양쪽 사이드를 세게 막아야 되는 그거라 정보가 많이 필요해요. 근데 스카이랑 소바라는 두 개의 요원을 동시에 사용하면서 수많은 정보들을 얻으면서 좀 더 수비하기 편하게 가져가려고 이렇게 조합을 쓰는 것 같고 아스트라는 한국도 많이 쓰는 것 같은데요, 저는.
So for Ascent, it's a map where we have to defend, like these long areas on A main and B main. And so it's great to have Sova and Sky who can both bring us information. It's not just because of the flash, but because the flash can tell us that whether someone is there or not. And as for Astra, I actually think Korea is adopting Astra a lot now. So I think the meta is changing in Korea as well.
All right, it's great to see how the regions kind of mix and who's picking up different tips and tricks from others. Finally, we have to talk about the final map split. Again, going to overtime, 12-12. We get the tack pause, the final tack pause of the match. What was discussed in that moment for you guys to push it forward and take the victory?
마지막 맵 스플릿에서 12대12일 때 그 전략적 타임아웃이 걸렸었는데 그때 어떤 이야기가 왔다 갔었는지 좀 궁금합니다.
그때는 일단 저희는 그 얘기가 나왔어요. 그러니까 뭔가를 하지 말고 그냥 안정하게 그냥 기본적으로 자기 막는 데서 잘 막으면은 무조건 이기겠다 해서 그렇게 했는데 또 저기 라키아 선수가 기가 막히게 잘해줘가지고 이겼습니다.
So for the last map, for that timeout, we were discussing let's not go overboard and do something that we're not used to doing. But on the other hand, let's do our default and then see what we can do from there. Play it safe. And Lakia had some amazing kills early on in those few rounds, so that's how we won.
Sticking to comfort and coming in clutch. Final question is looking ahead. Your next opponents, as you've already shattered expectations of many by taking down one North American team in version 1, you go up against the #1 seed in Sentinels. I just want to get your thoughts ahead of that matchup.
이제 NA 지역 2번 시드
To je to ovo zadnje pitanje.
이기셨는데요.
Hoće da mu kaže
다음
hvala.
경기는 센티널즈와의 경기입니다. 기대되시나요?
이게 좀 예의가 없을 수도 있는데 저는 일단 센티넬 하나만 보고 왔기 때문에 다 예상됐어요. 이렇게 올라오는 거는.
So this might be a little disrespectful, but we came here to face Sentinels, and this was all, we were expecting this matchup.
Well, we welcome the disrespect in that regard. Again, you put on such a show today, and what a comeback it was, Suggest. So congratulations on your 2-1 victory. So well-deserved. Can't wait to see that in the next matchup.
Pa ti si Petra onda glupo ako to ne shvataš, šta?
Fnatic versus X10.
Nije mi jasno. Kakva reklama, bre, idemo. Za 3 minuta kreće dom. To je to. Ide doma. Ne, ovo će biti sad strašan meč, šta? Samo malo gledaj, gdje je doma? Doma? Treba mi to. Znači, grand finale je 30. To je nedelja. Nedelja u 5. Ovo je isto kad je FNCS finale. Vidiš, samo ovaj meč neću moći da gledam. Lower Finals. Iako doma prođe, to će biti najbitniji meč. Ja neću moći da ga gledam. Unlucky. Haha, već se vidi ko je koliko uzeo šta. Crazy Shark, samo su oni ispali šta za sad, pa da. Oni su uzeli po 15.000. Znači doma sad ako izgubi, on je uzeo $25.000. A ako vineju, imaju 40k zagarantovano. Pa ako opet vineju, imaju 60.000 zagarantovano. Koliko se dobio lower finalu, kako to misliš? A lower finale, ko vine lower finale igra grand finale. Vidiš da ti piše, imaš upper finale, lower finale. Zamisli doma da uzme 200k. Sekundi. Ne znam šta ovdje sve ima ono. Da nam je doma ovdje. Evo ga. Koji smo što nisi igrali bind ni jednom ljudi, a? Naime, možeš doma da im pokažeš kako se igra sa Raze. Jebi ga.
Many different agents, by the way, Jed, Viper, also other stuff happening, but in general, he's consistent on every single one of them. He's aggressive, but Derker, maybe he's even now a little bit over-aggressive, because we have seen when they were playing against the NA scene, Derker was getting a little bit outgunned in those matchups against Tennis and Shazam. So,
realno, stvarno je previše agresivno.
I'm excited about this match because Fnatic so far in obviously Masters Reykjavik only played on 2 maps.
Što nam pokazuje ovog lika?
We're gonna most likely gonna see those 2 maps appear against X10 as well. But
što nam Sen
if not,
pokazuje
then
šta?
we're gonna see some maybe new strats coming from Fnatic.
Sentinel nam pokazuje šta? A igra Fnatica.
Preparations made for this tournament in general.
Yeah, now one would think that Boaster would be, you know, like licking his wounds from that loss against Sentinels, but apparently that was not the case, because today he sent out a tweet. If we could go ahead and show it on screen, he's ready to go. He's looking to dance on these fools, Achilleos. Look at the form.
Boy, okay.
I mean, I like it. I like that we're just seeing them kind of like go back and forth. And
Kao, brate, šta je ludlik, ono.
Trash talk. I mean, Patty kicking
Ja ovo
off
moram
with
vidim,
his
čekaj.
just, you know, gorilla leap out of the smoke and everything was just
Jel nešto
phenomenal.
pitao doma
So
možda?
I'm liking that we're seeing more and more teams and players kind of having fun with that moment and whatnot. So
yeah.
It's good. I mean, it's good to see the Boaster's keeping, you know, he's keeping his spirits high. This is not going to be a free win by any means.
Dobro.
Going up against X10. So as long as he can still stay focused while he's having fun, you know, on Twitter, then I think Fnatic will be okay.
Very true. They are going to have to stay focused here, Veli, because X10, hands down, have exceeded expectations. This Thai team is doing their region proud.
You know what? I actually think that there can be an actual upset coming in this series. Lothar was talking about the head-to-head. Right? You also have Patafan. The thing is, Durka, he just keeps moving forward and doesn't stop. He is overly aggressive, like my man Lothar said. But Patafan, what we saw in Icebox, he was consistently on the other side of the map, and that's the clip I'm talking about right there.
Witness me.
He's not alone. He's going to have support. Exactly. So if Patafan starts to really feel himself and he pushes enemy lines, it's going to be a clash of those two titans for both of those teams. Now, if Fnatic gets, thrown off their foot, their audibles are not as good as people think they are. I think X10 might have this.
All right. Well, for those of you guys at home, those are
Looks
bold
quite
words.
Veli,
by the way, you can check him out on Twitter. Look up Veli. He also can check out at Valorant Esports. It's VeliCast, right? I believe. For VeliCast. So
Aj, probaj još jedan da pogledaš kako se piše najluđi.
You know, all the good stuff that
Ajde,
you love to see in Valorant.
treća.
Also, you can participate in our daily predictions. And the fans
Naludi,
voted, no
najludi
shocker here,
I šta je
Fnatic to
treće?
win this one. Let's go down the line
Jer igra
quickly, though.
doma svaka
Kilios,
treće.
I'll start with you. Do you agree with our audience?
I disagreed very heavily in the last series. Obviously, came out on top. I was correct there. But this time I will be backing them. I think that Fnatic should be able to take this, but I think it's going to be a close series, 2-1.
Okay, a 2-1 series there. Lothar, do you share that same thought?
Well, I nailed the previous prediction with my 52% towards Newton, but I'm going to say this is going to be a hard win by Fnatic. Since they actually played really well against Sentinels, I think that 2-0 was...
Evo ga doma, gled koliki je, brate, znači naspram njih, stvarno je silan, brate.
And I went against my own rules there, but we also got Veli. What's your vote? And then we'll finish it off with Lothar on the graphic there.
Oh, it's fine, man. My vote's definitely going to be Fnatic as well. I said what I said about Fnatic. I still think, their plan C sometimes and plan B kind of gets messed up because they run in for those gunfights. But yeah, X10, they're going to have to really bring it.
Yeah, and no shocker, again, just for our graphics team, Lothar did go with Fnatic. If he had gone with X10, though, can you imagine how the internet would have responded? I mean, geez Louise, that just would have been ridiculous. But anyway, the players are
kicked out of Europe.
Prepping us as we speak. The players are ready to go, though, guys. So it's time to get into the game, and let's head on over to two of my favorite people. We got Pansy and HyperX. Floor is yours.
Baš me zanima da će baneju Binedonu.
Well, it has
Stvarno želim da gledam
been a bit of
Binedonu.
a day so far. How are we meant to top what we just saw, HyperX? What a series that was. And now an elimination game in front of us between Fnatic and X10.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough to follow that up. I mean, I'm still kind of speechless.
Paolo
The green room
mislim
was
da.
somewhere to be for that one. But moving on to the next, I actually think we've got a really interesting lineup on hands. I know the desk we're touching on a couple of things here, but I think this is a really interesting. I know how much you love to discuss this in terms of stylistic matchups here. This is a good opportunity for Fnatic to kind of reset to some kind of comfort zone, right? But X10 with the possibility to mix things up a bit.
Okay, we were promised a walkout. Let's pay attention to it from the Masters of Ceremony. Boaster and Pattypan are the two you gotta keep your eyes on. Let's see what they're bringing to the stage today.
Ma, najluđiš.
Alright, fair enough. Fair enough.
Ne mogu da
A lot
verujem.
of energy, high energy. Okay, fair enough. And I love the way the rest of Fnatic are like, alright, look, we'll just follow behind, no worries. And the same with X10, they're like, alright, we'll keep this serious. But as said, they are showmen. You have two
Gdje je Doma?
very
Evo ga,
vocal,
evo
very
ga, naš Doma.
forward-leaning, very happy to be the face of the team. Maybe IGLs, I guess you could call them, the kind of forerunning players between the two, Boaster and Pattypan, both making statements throughout their previous games. Now, as much as I love it, and we all do, we sit there, we'll give it a talk through. It's all about what goes on in the server. Now, Pattypan had a phenomenal series in their survival game leading up to this one. Now, Boaster has always been good at filling the roles that he plays, but he's not necessarily a pop-off player. You'd argue that's more Durka.
Yeah, I think as well, the desk have maybe some criticisms towards Durka, but I think eyes have got to be on him here. In terms of, X10's lack of set plays, I'm going to just touch on the veto hit. No real surprise. We're going to see Bind removed. I guess you can probably expect what Fnatic are going to do as well, and that's gone just as expected. So,
Bind,
map
yeah,
pool-wise here, we do have a little bit of, I guess, grace in terms of the three remaining maps are actually pretty comfortable for both teams. I'd argue, actually. I mean, if we were to look a little beyond the challenges and lead up to Masters 2.
Hoću da gledam Bind, brate.
Icebox. Okay, yeah, well, I mean, Icebox coming out first is a solid map for them. Obviously, X10 going to start on the attack as well. And obviously,
znači, doma prvu mapu igraju Icebox dev strana.
So, it was a decent performance there.
Yeah, Haven
Onda si
coming
ide
in
Haven.
for X10. not fussed by any of this. I feel as though this actually isn't a bad map pool necessarily for X10. People have been saying there is a chance of upset's a strong word. I think anyone here is pretty deserving of position, but
yeah.
Realistic expectations, Hyperx, where do you see this going? Because the desk was sitting around 2-1s. I think Achilleos kind of lent towards that, saying there could be a map here for X10, but the predominant lead was towards Fnatic walking through this, but there is danger to be had here.
There is, and actually, I mean, the order that those 3 remaining maps have come out, it going to Ascent on the decider, I think actually potentially if X10 can force it there, that's their biggest opportunity. I mean, statistically, that is their strongest. Again, if you look a little further beyond challenges and the lead up to Masters 2, they have a great track record there. So that's actually an interesting map veto to come out here. Again, the band itself, not so much of a surprise, but the order here, I think, actually is a big condition in favor of X10.
Something else that Des brought up as we are going into Icebox, and something that I think most of the North American fans will remember was seeing just, you know, either Shazam, whoever you want, just backhanding Durka on any attempt of aggression. Now, in EU, you don't normally see Durka getting manhandled like that. And I think the big thing for me now is his confidence knocked? Does he still have the guts to go for it again? Does he have to find new looks from the offset? Or X10 even the team to punish that?
Yeah, and I think just about to touch on this briefly before the veto, but I think in this series in particular, yes, he's come under a little criticism, but eyes have got to be on him here. Like I said, with X10 and the lack of kind of set plays and I guess you could say as well that just the lack of structure it really relies on Durka to be able to find those opening duels. So it's definitely going to be interesting. Like I said, this is a good opportunity for Fnatic to return to some kind of comfort zone, maybe try and control the pace a little easier than their previous matchups. I mean, coming out of that Sentinel series, I was actually overall pretty happy with the performance of Fnatic. I think Sentinel just excelled. They actually just played a better game overall, but that's not to say Fnatic played poorly at all. All the structure, the fundamentals were still there. The positives were still in place for me for Fnatic.
No, I'm very much with you, and I think most people who step away from the EUNA kind of, you know, fanfare that's going on could see it was a very good game to watch, honestly, between the both of them. Sentinels, I think at this point, you got to look at them as being, you know, the forerunners as potential winners for the entire thing. And they hit every single win condition to put Fnatic down to this point. Now, I also think a lot of people would say that Fnatic were going to lose that series, but maybe bounce back. Now we're going to find out what the agent select is looking like, considering this is brought to you by Prime Gaming. Any standouts here? I feel as though there's not going to be too much surprise from Fnatic.
No, there isn't. And again, really, it looks towards X10 if we're going to see anything coming out. Obviously, Patty Pan coming on to the Jet. Now, one talking point is obviously X10 kind of rolling with the breach here on Icebox pretty consistently. And again, success-wise, I'm not for it, but I mean, if it works for you, it works for you. So no real surprises on either side here. No major switch-ups.
No, we did see a little bit of kind of I guess the Cypher coming into play in moments on Icebox for X10 previous to now. I mean, it can work. Exactly, we have seen it work in previous games, especially if you've watched Gambit in the past, for example, made it look very viable, and it is a bit of a pocket pick, but not today. We are going to be going into this one, and keep in mind, one of these two teams will be going home. This is elimination time. This is where the big boys come to play. You have Fnatic coming into this on the defending side, and Durka already going to put himself in a little bit of a forward lead. X10 on the attack.
Ovo će biti strašno. Dok ga David za 1000 isto. Ovo Davide, ti si najluđi. Najluđi si.
Might try and isolate Patty Pan up top here. Actually, the recon comes through. Crew's going to slip through, but Durka
free kill je both find to već free kill. Ladno uzimaju pištolj rundu, ljudi moji. Čekaj, bolje da čutimo, ne. Da li je moguće će uzeti pištolj rundu?
Wall going to keep them safe for a second, but now with it dissipating, they're going to have to look for that next step. Boaster's going to be tucked on site, but he has the support from Short, Magnum, and Doma, not too far away. Fox trying to clear through. Boaster could be the first potential target. Not going to happen. Boaster stays alive and scary now, the 1v4. And you've got that slow wrap around from Mystic as well. So no backing away from this, even with that 38-second mark on the board.
No, just a matter of time here. Magnum and Boaster just going to try and run the clock down a little bit.
Ja, šta mu je skočio.
Pick up a still around. So clean pistol
GG,
come through
okay.
again. Durka managed to
Dobro su počeli,
open
pazi.
that one up with Cruz trying to slip underneath pipes, but good setup from Fnatic to hold on to this. And actually, initially, I love that little the slow orb and the shock dart combo actually to pick
Very
that
nice.
kill up on Cruz.
And again, while we're in that beautiful replay, shout out to the observers. You got Prius,
Kako su
Sapphire,
ovi
and
stigli
Yeti
protiv njih,
taking
ne
through
znam, vidjet
this,
ćemo.
and I haven't even seen a single T-Tours in chat, so you know they're doing good. Now at this point, Fnatic are one up to the lead. We have to see if there's any damage
Ajde,
to be
finale
done from
FNCS,
this round.
subota i
No
nedjelja.
individual big success from X10. No one kind of pushed anywhere further forward. Boaster getting, you know, all underway. The couple of kills he picked up going to work out well for him to start off with a bit of a bang. But Durka happy to once again post up a little on this. Of course, does have the ability to get away after that first bit of contact. But let's see how much he sticks by this. Cautious peek on the first, and there it is. Backs away on 20-ish HP. Should be okay. He doesn't get the heal though, so he's going to be feeling a little worse for wear as Fox does dive on down. So Durka's now dead, and Fnatic do lose a little control of the site, but the HP on all of X10 is exceedingly low. So there shouldn't be too much danger now.
No, 1 HP, 12 HP left on Patipan. Will get dealt with there. Mystic going to pick up the final two. We'll close that one out again. I'm not sure actually. Doma tried to back away from the screen, so I'm not sure if that was a misclick there, and he meant to get the heal off.
Aj sad, ova runda je bitna,
anyway,
brat.
Doma comes back
Ako ovo uzmu,
all the way towards
lagani.
default and finds 2 kills of his own to make up for it. A good opportunity here, I guess, with the bonus for maybe Fnatic to try and be a little more proactive in this round. And no presence really shown over towards mid or B in the first two, and you can see here already X10
baš me
leaning
zanima,
that
neko
direction.
možda
Leaves
kupio ovaj novi
Sushikoi,
nož.
I guess, to maybe get some control of belt, but Fnatic reading into this now. They're going to have Durka and Doma actually over towards Boiler here, or maybe towards Kitchen, so a good setup.
Magnum ne zna šta da igra, brat. Da li igra Phantom ili...
I guess is the word I'd go for. It doesn't
Okay.
there's a pause coming in. So
Ja ne znam
it
šta
bursts off
priča,
quickly,
brat.
But between the two, I want to
To
get
je
that
to.
synergy going. I saw that little, maybe the heal was meant to go to Durka, just
Da li
kind
igra Phantom ili Vandala
misplaced
se da
it.
kaže.
But still, I'd love to see
Ko je
those
to
two really
skinuo uopće za
synergize here. I think
Phantom?
that was something that was
Šta je to?
slightly missing in that Sentinels game, specifically on Icebox. You could see there was a
Pazi, on je
little
kod
less of
obe
that
ovu rundu.
cohesion between the two, so if they can
Ja
get
ne
that
znam.
smoothed out, that'd be
Imaju
a
3
really
SMG,
nice
ono.
look for them to come back into this.
Znači samo
But
Magnum
of
ima
course,
gun.
in this scenario, we're looking at the rifles coming out for X10, and
Yeah.
they should be able to do damage here.
I think I mean, Fnatic are going to be tested with kind of how fast and loose X10 like to play some of their buy rounds, and I think with I mean, historically, when we look at Fnatic and when they've struggled regionally,
Ma
it's-
Doma igra
they've
race
been
samo,
against
brate,
these
na
very
bind,
reactive
ono.
teams who like to try and collapse very quickly on
Yep.
first bloods, and they need to control Patipan in particular in the early rounds, and Ice towards Durka and Doma to achieve that. I think across any of the way we see these rounds play out, and actually, Fnatic during that pause did actually send a third over towards A, so it's only Mystic and Magnum over here, mid wide open right now for the taking.
Yeah, they might be able to punish towards one if they manage to catch that Killjoy, but already Patipan is right up middle. And this is the guy that can pop off. If you are wanting to see X10 do damage, you want to see this guy get rolling quick. So already Durka could be in trouble. Lovely work from Patipan, quick hit and run. Gonna just back away towards middle, expecting maybe a counter peek to come through, but we can already see it's the deep hold from Mystic. Kind of giving up the site a fair crack. There is utility there, but it is going to be that deeper hold waiting for the support. And mid's actually not got too much pressure on it, apart from Fox, who turns his attention the right
baš
time.
teško da
HP's
mogu
getting
da...
dwindled. This is dangerous.
Možda
They
i
know what to
mogu,
do here,
brate,
Hyper.
šta?
There is SMGs
Oni još uvijek ne mogu da
against them.
plante.
Those sheriffs. This should not have been this dangerous.
No,
Oni
nobody
su ih
from Fnatic
ubili,
able to
sorry,
upgrade
šta?
just yet, but Mystic still playing all the way deep towards spawn now, actually coming away from Snowman to play a little safer. I like that as well. He's not as easy to corner.
30 seconds left.
And all three members of Fnatic now going to stack up around Kitchen. They're just going to try and wait out the plant here. Doma and Magnum actually go creeping. They're going to retake control of bottom of tube here. Really, it's going to be difficult for... I mean, they've got to pick something away from default because the sight lines towards mid just... Yeah, look at it. It's 10 seconds now, and they have perfect angles to prevent this.
There it is,
That's
Magnum.
Magnum, yeah.
Oh, that's going to be a bit of heartbreak here. Sushi Boys is in so much danger. Yeah, he's done for. Great work between...
Okay.
I've got to highlight to him, Mystic.
Ovi
able to
nemaju
stay
pare
alive,
sad. Ovi
keep
idu
that
eko, brate,
presence,
ovo
but
ide na
not
4-0.
not overcommit. Allow them just enough room maintaining
Koliko loše ovo,
control
brate,
of
za
the
ovih
other
10,
two.
sorry,
Hit
pazi.
those rotations
Ali jak to
really
za
well
domu.
done in the end. And I mean, it's going to be devastating for X10. That round was meant to be the easy one to walk through.
Yeah, and I mean this right here again. Find that first is actually disgusting, but you're right. The fact that he comes away from Snowman and regroups, it allows him to kind of not play in a corner where potentially actually X10's weapons way more deadly at that range. They can play distance. Really like that readjustment.
Jesu, eko, ma da, brate, da. 5 šerifa imaju.
Here is... Look like X10 wanted to flex out a little bit on
Nema zvuka, čujem kako neko klikće smišno tamo.
Not gonna get any value for it just yet. A little bit of control for the time being, but Fnatic just gonna sit back on this, and only really with the Sheriffs again. Expect Fnatic to try and play distance on this, especially with Durka coming across with the operator now.
Au, brate, on je već uzao ovo sranje, kako će da ih jebe.
X10 sitting for the time being.
Ajmo, ko će prvi da umre?
Yeah, and Durka here. Keeping cool under pressure, doesn't give away too much of this. Now going to be in a little bit of a situation, but does manage to back away from this. And again, you can see Fnatic playing quite calm here under pressure. The site has been taken, but postured happily for
Zašto ljudi ne
take
igraju?
until then.
Brate.
Magnum being a loss is a bit
Dobre,
of an
bravo.
issue building, but Mystic
Bravo.
bails him out with a
Bro,
stun.
ide Mystic, bre.
Spins around on a
I
dime,
dobro za jedan
gets
kill.
three.
GG.
And now Pattypan has to dig deep
Pazi,
on
ovi
this.
su plentali,
This
uzeli
man
2 killa. Njima je
has
to čak i
been
dobro
a
za eko.
huge influence on the success of X10.
Bukvalno za eko njima
They
to
could do
još
it
i
right
dobro.
now. That's going to be a
O,
key
još
step in the
jedan
right
kill, okej.
direction. Now two left.
Pazi, ovaj ima
Spotted
šanse
out one
kubi, još
earlier.
najjači.
That's maybe a glimpse on Doma. Yes,
Full je,
who knows where the
brate.
last two players are. He could still do work on this one, but how does he stop this? He
To je to,
can't.
okej, bra.
Plucks him out and says no. That's 4 on the board for Fnatic.
Realno, tu ništa nije mogu da
Really good
radi.
play with the wall. Actually, it creates this tunnel for Durka to hold. Forces Pattypan to come through and take that angle. Damn, he made it interesting, and that's what we look to in this series, right? Is Pattypan to have rounds like this.
Ma i Mystic, brate,
Holding
veli
things
ga.
down though with these first 3 kills, absolutely huge. And again, it's only Sheriffs he's up against, but nice nonetheless. That's how things did close out there with that wall.
Nice.
It's just, yeah, the casual one. I think that was both from the end. It was just like the casual. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah.
Nice.
And I do want to keep my, my attention drawn towards Durka and how he's
Au,
approaching.
šta je
He'll
tu se
probably get away with a
preletelo?
great deal more than he would against, Sentinels, for example. But I do want to see if he's maybe adjusted even coming into this, or if he's going to go back to the way he was playing before. And they put a lot of pressure on the guy, but already a nice mid take, it looks like, from X10. Pattypan's been able to thread somewhat of the needle, but he needs a shot on Boaster. That's a problem. Sushi Boys does keep his back safe there as Boaster went on that repeat. Nice work from Sushi Boys to double up in middle here.
Sushi Boys, zamisli kako se lik zove.
Biggest criticism you could have would be the strength in this default. So to have a contingency in place for Pattypan to explore mid there, Sushi Boys will capitalize on it. Give them a little bit of space actually to work with. They're going to throw an alarm bot down in kitchen and rotate off. Actually, Mystic, quite scary, creeping through. Investing a Viper spit over here by screen. I'm not sure how much site coverage that's going to give them. Might be able to get the clean plant here on default still. It cuts more sight lines off of Fnatic here.
Pa ja baš ne znam kakav to bio ult.
It's going to be
Još i
gone
umro.
soon, so no worries in that regard. Fox has already taken down Mystic. In a 3v4, Magnum trying to work in on this. The flash is pretty well.
Kako ovo Magnum odradio, sorry, alo.
Boast has found Fox and it's just down
Ma
to
gledi oni šta njima rade, brate, to je to, brate. Oni njih deru, sorry. Deru.
And
Oni su
I
opet
didn't like the ult
Ikosa.
from Mystic, but I do
Ja
want to
mislim
keep
da jesu.
highlighting how much time he's buying on these rotations as well. He's being so good at this. That little quick pick that he gets from on top of the ledge, dips back down. Didn't love the ult, but still, even in that, just buys the time on these rotations.
FF,
Next
I
10
mean
aren't
my
making
FF.
it to the post plants.
No, you're right. And then actually Fox pushes through and finds the one kill that matters in that situation and removes Mystic from that A site hold. And again, at that point, I got to say, did Cruz catch a self-flash there? I mean, he came round and see, yeah, Magnum turned it, but yeah, Cruz actually self-flashed there. So really unlucky not to catch that kill on Magnum on back site. And I got to be honest, that's kind of when that falls apart. X10 gonna put their foot on the brake for a moment here. Attack timeout called at 5-0 scoreline. And I'll be honest, execution-wise, they're finding the success that I think was going to be hardest for them, which is kind of getting into sight, getting these plants down, at least getting
Stvarno, doma nijedan nije umro.
Fnatic able to stabilize and recover these rounds.
Uzeli su taktika timeoute.
No, and it does seem as though his attack timeout as it stands. They are looking like they are trying to work out how to press the button, which makes me a little worried. I'm nervous, but we'll believe it's all good to go. X10, probably the right time to try and stop the rot, get that answer building, maybe just change up a little bit of that focus coming into this, because you don't want to get any further than 5 down at this point. It is Fnatic's choice of map, though, so take from that what you will. Again, though, you don't want blowouts. You don't want to, even coming into, we said it, late in this veto, they could have a good shot at bringing a little bit more towards the plate, but if you get thrashed in map 1, you're not exactly feeling yourself down the line, so hopefully X10 can find an answer here, but I don't know what the answer is at the moment. They've been kind of halted pretty quickly, and the retakes have been good. The composure on some of these side takes has been fantastic, so yeah, a little worrying if they don't find an answer soon.
I'll be honest, I mean, Patty Pan being the highlight player is obviously a huge win condition, but I feel like we need players like Foxes and Sushi Boys to have good games individually here when we anticipate how Fnatic are going to want to play, right? And even just that little piece in mid with Sushi kind of over-peaking Patty Pan, allowing him to kind of slow creep up towards Boiler. It's little things like that already, like I said, are big positives for me. It's just, right now, Fnatic turning things around in the retake and kind of negating that early round pressure.
See what this gets them now. The buy is decent enough for X10, but Magnum wants to get aggressive. That's a bit of a problem they have to deal with early as well. Just that little bit of a switch up to post him up. Durka going to get the glimpse through middle, but falls away after a bit of an exchange with Patty Pan.
Yeah.
Who's going to be down on 27 HP here.
So Durka did get caught there down to 70, but will get healed up. Mystic did actually place his orb on the other side here, so going to stay on pipes for the time being. Again, this position already gone unchecked once.
Poison's off.
Still got to be careful. We're actually going to back away here on the cooldown, and actually the set piece comes up on the other side from X10. Cruise swings through, going to find Mystic right away.
Yeah, caught him on the timing. Boaster almost got caught out in the open, but fades away just in time. The double face towards the right side of it. Garners Boaster 2 out of nowhere. That's a... Oh, no way. It's a disaster for X10. They just kind of clump up for him. He happily waits and greets it with a smile, and now just Fox alive. The spike's already kind of halfway committed. Thank you again. Look at Yeti doing work here. The spike already committed halfway over, so Durka's going to be able to see enough and maybe even just get a cue that he's crossed. And Fox is going to have to do some mad heavy lifting. Not going to happen. Fnatic once again holding the line, and Boaster getting away with murder.
Yeah, and like I said, it's the early things that, you know, X10 are getting entry into sight. Actually, at this point, I mean, finding Mystic. But right here, I mean, there's nothing to cover off. Nobody's swept through this side of pipes. Nobody's even holding the side of maze. The both are able to line the first two up and has a free peek onto the third as well.
I thought Magnum might have already been maybe shoulder peeking, trying to keep that attention that way. There wasn't even any of that. It was just purely Boaster just got the timing right, and nobody was keeping that in mind. That re-aggress could potentially happen. Now Durka going to put himself right amongst them. Good start for Durka. Dashes away, gets to safety, gets that first pick, and again, this is against pistols, man. That's brutal. A little bit of light armor to follow, but the ults are there. They've just not had any time to really bring them through. Fnatic are smothering them.
Yeah, the hard work's done now, and again, actually, it's the, I guess other than Fox, it's the one player on X10 that can really challenge Durka with his flashes, get him off these angles, so it'll be extremely difficult. A Marshall, Frenzy, 2 Sheriffs to get away. Durka will rotate away, going to leave Doma solo right now, and actually timing-wise, he does catch Foxes, yet we'll spot all 3 there, so Wisely will back away. Foxes, though! Durka and Doma fall.
How did he get that second on Doma? I was about to praise Doma for kind of playing it quite calm, quite deep. He wasn't over-peaking and just gets dug out of the position. Fox is again going to find his third, though. Big display so far. The man with the rifle now to maybe catch Boaster if he slips in. Yes, he does! Excellence from Fox, trying to get that first round for X10. As Mystic is your final man alive. I don't know what he's going to do, but maybe just keep hold of the rifle that he's got in his hands. Doesn't want to give away anything at this point. And yeah, it's time to just chill it out. As I've got to say it, that's just an individual pop-off. Good luck replicating that, but you got to love it when you see it, and he might be trying it. Does he dare check? Let's see. Keep in mind, Mystic is in spawn. And it's just, oh no, Fox, can you get it? No, Mystic denies. That's just nasty, costing them actually a couple of the rifles. Op still up.
I say that was. I was going to say, was that the operator, the last one to peek there? But beautiful round here.
Impeccable.
Chat. Koliko je?
Great entry here with him. But like I said, actually the sheriff didn't end up matching.
Prvu rundu uzeli, ne, servis, znači koliko onda? 5-1, 6-1.
Headshot at least in the second onto Doma for
6-1.
nice little transfer.
Okay. Jel umro doma?
Actually, it's the one that you
Ili
least
ja
expect
ostao
them
živ?
to come away with to be their first round on the
Bokile,
board here.
a ne, ti si već volio pre. Dajde hvatni nešto.
You got to take them when you can get them at this point, and if it's off the back of one player having a big round, you got to hope they can maybe do a little bit more of that. Boaster getting a fair bit of information. There's no challenge on A, so they can maybe lean a little early. Dirk is already going to get walking towards middle, but Mystic, I'm sure it's Doma, should know what's coming their way now. Already utility coming in, and there's those ults being invested. We noted them before, and Patty Pan going to try and work off the back. And they try and hold some position towards middle. And you can see a bit of a stall now from X10. They're not able to make the progress they had before.
3-5 su.
Okay, it's a setup there again. I love the idea. The Rolling Thunder comes through. Patty Pan desperately tries to close the
Hvala
distance
ljudi na konfetama, hvala.
to capitalize on it, but Fnatic's setup
Vidim
is
da nimam ja te
perfect
konfete.
in that regard.
He's been watching this a while. He was already in middle. You can see the line of sight here. Just turns away. He's so paranoid, but he's still going to find it on the first. Ults up, sees both of them. Full information noted. Repeaks in. Cruz is going to find Durka, so a chance is had, but it's limited. 30 seconds. They've got to make a big boy play out of this one, but already you can see the position from Doma is good. Sat in on this one. Does anyone get some attention? No, he doesn't need it. The lovely crossfire.
Beautiful.
Contact on one, swing from the other. Fnatic stop it before it starts.
And again, it's just as soon as that happens in mid, you can see already that Doma and Boaster don't risk anything. Just hold this super, super deep setup on site. Right here, as soon as that first kill comes through, seeing them both headed now on the minimap, and they don't come through to challenge anything at all. Beautiful counter peek from Boaster. And
Nisam vidio šta mu radio doma,
brate.
brate.
Guardian in the hands of Patty Pan here.
Jebalo me konfet.
Funky buy nonetheless.
Ja tišu da vidim da li ima neki konfet.
At this point, really,
Hvala ljudi.
we need to see something out of it. Like I said, the concern really was going to be the set plays and the executes coming into this series, and I gotta say, it's not looking good right now.
Derk je uzeo kill, to je to. O, oni su Iko, brate, šta? Imaju samo jedan gun.
EU hope has been in the bin a little bit. Maybe they need this. You know, a little bit of hope to come from somewhere. But 7-1 as a start is pretty blistering, and it's harsh for X10, but there is room for recovery.
Haha, zato je to doma, brate.
Patty Pan and Fox are the last two
Zato je tu doma.
Spike's going to be way at the back. Patty Pan trying to play as best he can to this. But pinned to spawn. It's another one for Fnatic.
8-1, brate.
And I feel it's too early in the evening to be showing.
Čekaj, je li ovo moguće da već oni njima ovo da urade?
Beginning to look that way. It is definitely beginning to look that way.
Nisu oni imali neki win?
I mean, it's tough because Fnatic are kind of...
Ovdje su izgubili.
I mean, Dirk is still playing a similar playstyle, right?
Kući, neće
And
ništa
this time
uradi.
around, again, the difference
I
being
to
is
ćete
finding
dobiti
value
više
to
para
timing
od ovih.
Doma pretty much always in a position to either double down or get the trade.
Aha, nije, imali su ovdje u loveru.
Really difficult for
Imali
X10
su ovdje
to deal
win,
with this.
ok, ništa.
Like I said, it comes back just to the same time that we'd say the two players to support Patty Pan. Ooh, okay.
That's not
bad. That, yeah. Durka will shut Patty Pan will shut Durka down at the start of this round.
They need a little bit of that fire. A second brilliant for them. You can see Cruz trying to work off the back of it. Patty Pan now going to lean forward a little, catches another tag towards Doma, but doesn't quite get the kill he wants, and they want to build off the back of this, but you can see the utility gets just poured in from the other side. X10 can't capitalize on that initial pick just yet.
Good, actually. Both Boaster and Doma managed to slip away from that. Now holding very, very deep there. You go, Patty Pan finally dealt with.
Doma je umro, jebi ga, ne veze, rešimo.
Trade that out now, but at least now a decent opportunity to set up. But Boaster comes through and finds Sushi immediately.
Scary. Gonna isolate Magnum, now spammed out though. Boaster's not gonna let it go away, and now Fox called upon the 1v1. He gets the first step towards Boaster. It's him against Mystic though. should have all the information. You can see Mystic trying to not give away too much, but he has to show it. And now the timing's everything. Mystic tries to make the madman move, but the clutch comes out from Fox. And a great round for them to close down on, maybe necessary for just a breath of fresh air.
They're really, really well played. And again, it's Doma looks to find that trade on Pattypan, but gotta respect the Blade Storm. Yeah, but again, it felt a little awkward there as things progressed, and Fnatic got a couple of kills back in their favor. I love this here. So the Aldron comes through, it actually nearly closes the distance.
There's a second away.
Onto him.
But it was your Red Bull clutch, so X10 pulling a couple of these rounds back off the back of some great individual work. There's no one doubting the individuals from X10, but Mystic going to invest the ult towards this, feeling the instantaneous pressure towards A. That's going to deny a lot of room to work, but Pattypan's going to try and find a route forward, but Mystic denies straight up out of there. Now Mystic keeps trying to work forward. He's still trying to hold this line. So much pressure, so much util, all the spam his way, but he's unmoved.
Actually, both are going to throw down Hunter's Fury. Does get an initial tag here, and they're going to be able to follow up, and Sushi Boy is actually going to invest the lockdown. I like that. In response to the Hunter's Fury going out, no real counter now to shut this down, and maybe an attempt to cancel out. Oh, the Nano Squad's perfect as well. He's going to get detained.
Yeah, Mystic just has to sit and wait. He can't do anything, just watch as it unfolds around him. But now as the smoke depletes, you're still going to see players here. Doma still up on towards the rafters. It puts it down towards Durka, and Boaster up against Cruz. Cruz watching that push in. He catches the player on short.
Są 3 izgleda. Ili?
Put into the 1v2.
Čekaj, ipak je Bog živ, ono. Ima šanse.
Both a little lower than before, but it is the op, so HP is not going to be a huge factor the first. I thought he had it, but no, up and over. Desperate for the shot.
Tu da ga hit ubi ga.
Bold attempt there. 30 HP. This could be it. It is Fox again with the shutdown, closing out the round. But X10 finding value off the back of that killjoy.
Yeah, nice little setup there again.
Čaka bi mu uzeli još ovu da završe, brate, na 9. Na 9-3, čao, brate.
Little slice of backside. The Nano Swarm forces him out. It's a really nice take actually from X10, and yeah, right here actually playing this. There was a moment where I thought they were going to give him kind of an opportunity to peek onto Cruz, I think, who was on default, with Fox kind of stuck underneath the rope. He managed to close things out with a shock dart here, and I mean, really, they can get the 4th. It's not going to be the worst half ever, considering how this started. Durka now from the... this is the spot we always see him.
Yeah, and like the guillotine again, going to be just claiming.
Yeah, biga.
He's only won this time. Good trade comes out. Doma has to fall away, tries to buy some time.
Unreasonable as well.
Ne znam kako mogu da igraju bez Sage na ovoj mapi. Na ovoj mapi baš je bitna Sage na ovoj mapi.
I don't think they managed to quite catch the fallback, but the upgrade on the op. But you could see the punish coming out, catching Boaster on the push-up a little.
Jak dođe posle 2 dana da pita, zamisli. Taj matchup je 2 dana igra. Kako je mogo da misle to?
Discipline there, Magnum got himself into a dirty spot.
Bravo.
As the first, but traded out by Fox.
Fox is the glue to this team at the moment, and he's been holding this together for them. But the res did come in. Durka's back on his feet. Mystic, Doma, and Durka. Yeah. Nice one, analyst. Fox
brate, lik blej na midu, zamisliti jo. Brate. To je to što.
And the rounds, here's Fox is unrelenting. He wants to give them the gap. He wants to give them a buffer.
8-4, brate,
give them a chance in that second half.
I love that. Sad ćete vidimo. Completely pushing through, being proactive. He wants to retake this space in mid to cut off that rotation. As soon as the res comes through, he knows that he might be able to isolate one of these players, and immediately finds Durka. And also, actually, I mean, plan B-wise, he's able to play mid here with the Hunter's Fury. Again, if it comes down to it, with Sushi Boy setting all the way back towards Belt, I really love that, actually. A 2v3 again. To be able to put the advantage back in your favor there, just a little bit of aggression. Absolutely earned that one. And as I said, actually comes out 8-4, and the best of a bad situation overall for X10.
Baš mi se nešto spava, brate. A popio sam sad neko energetsko, neko iz Lidla. Mislim ću ja I kafu da stavim sad. Sad dođem tu sam brzo. Ne, čekaj. Pištolj runda mora se gledaj bak.
If X10 close this out, it gives them that gateway back to a way easier scoreline to manage. We'll see. As Fnatic now will be on the attacking side. And Patipan waiting patiently.
Pazi, X10, jako im je bitno sada da dobijamo pištolju rundu. Jako im je bitno.
Right place, the timing!
Šta?
Oh, it's heartbreak.
Oh,
He's lucky to be alive, but...
yeah. That's really unfortunate. Aftershock going to clear out a couple players off pipes, or actually at least force them out in the open. Magnum and Durka just want to double down on this.
Mystic uzeo jedan kill.
It seems they have to push off the back, and now Patipan's still alive, barely, but is standing, just trying to find his way around all this utility.
On će neko da ubije svojih 22 kills.
Just absolutely everywhere. Sudden reveal.
Neće, dobro, reći ga doma.
Faking out the spike plant for the first, but actually is committing on this one now with the spike plant. You see Bosa tries to keep him safe here. Fox is right amongst them. He just gets plucked on through. And now down to Sushi Boys and Scary.
Nemoguće.
Trying to find these two players, but that wall is so obnoxious to deal with.
You're going to be really difficult to dig. Doma or Bosa.
Napravio je korak, ono.
Again, just splitting this 2-2.
Yeah,
not an awful lot for X10 to do here. The Nano Swarm comes through, forces him out. Just too much to deal with there for Sushi Boys. Fnatic will close. Pissed around in the second half. Really, really good stuff, actually. Again, actually, all the right moves from X10 to try and stop that initial aggression, but I think actually a little bit of no respect shown on the side of Durka and Magnum to just charge through. Sure, we were supposed to catch the end of that one, but
solid. Durka going to be working forward, and actually a bit of a stack here, but gets red and undone. I thought they may be able to get away with a little bit more from that, but not the case. Two players instantaneously gone, and the play towards the side begins. Who's on top? What a shot from him, though. Lovely connection. Going to slow down the piece, at least from Fnatic for now. Any more would be brilliant.
Wall up. Again, the Viper's wall just to block line of sight. Could do any damage to it before it reinforces. Durka now behind yellow. Swings out, sees way more than he's bargaining for. But Bosta going to find the first for the shock dart, and the last Fox will fall. Fnatic now double digits. And this is the sort of round here. Again, X10's first buy round. I want to see them lean heavily towards taking some of this early control, but it's just so difficult with the way Durka plays, and not an awful lot other than Cruz, like I said, to really kind of force him off these early round angles. It's got to be a really, really well thought out setup.
Kafu I skočim iz klopka, brate, za struju. I ne stane mi struja, brate.
It's really, really tough. It really is.
Mislim kad to desi da mi se ugasi kom, brate, kako bi poludio, sorry.
See what the answer is. They'll have plenty of footage to go over. Just do what Sentinels did, Forehead.
Yeah, yeah.
Šta puca, brate, live mi puca ponekad.
Seemingly very aware of the potential pressure about to mount towards his side.
Jebete, net, pa nemam pojma, brate.
He's not alone in this either.
Vidiš da to nije čedo neta uopšte.
Crew's not too far away. Oh, that's a lovely shot from him. Gonna just fade away off to the back of claiming Durka, and now actually gonna... He's double dipping on this. He's going back for a little bit more. Couldn't quite land the shot he needed as doma can just keep that movement up around the corner and take it towards the site.
Fox now. I find Bosa Viper's a bit invested here, and he's actually just trying to charge all the way through. He will get spotted out. Doma cleans him up. Cruz will send out the fault line, but again, playing so deep here and unable to really follow up on the pressure created by Fox. I don't think they can contest this hold on A. Spike's still not even down yet, so Fnatic just waiting for them to push in. Wall goes up, just to be extra safe. Can actually break through it here, but no kill. Cruz has to hit that reload, and now they can reset. Still got the snake bite. Great opportunity to play post plant here. Actually missed it.
Tačno ga je vidio, brate. Šta je on probao?
It's a shutdown. 11 on the board.
Kako imam obično 200, o čemu pričaš? Imam kad pravim bokseve, da. Zadnja 3 dana sam imao bokseve. I streamao sam po cijel dan, sad sam krenuo stream pre sat i po. I nemam bokseve, uliko mene da.
They do the hard job, right?
Gledaj doma gdje
They're
držiš
skilled Durka.
slušalice.
They find the first blood. It's
Spavaš ono ovako
yeah,
igra.
it's really tough to watch this because it's just comes down to a couple of minute readjustments where they have the utility to do
Ma
so.
ti crni, ne vredi crni, ne vredi
It's not
pričaš
being put
stalno,
in
brate.
place.
No,
Ti si izgubljen,
it's
brate.
unfortunate because
Znači ti
X10
ko da
getting
ne,
to this
ko
point
da ne
was highly
pričaš sa mnom
impressive, and
uopće
I
zadnjih
think all of us
nedelju dvije,
became
ono.
Slight fans of Paddy Panny. Desperation plays coming out
Yeah,
now, just
yeah.
trying to dive head first
Koliko
towards
puta sam
it.
ti rekao da
Fnatic
3
just
boksa
running the
nedavno
same
idu
again here,
recommended.
taking that control building. Fox this time goes back in, and they're just clutching at straws, and nothing's coming through. It's just slipping through their fingertips.
Nemo su male
Down to just
slušalice,
two
ne
here.
seri.
Well, unfortunate for X10, but Fnatic just going through the motions, it feels like.
Yeah, we've hit their stride here, and I think you're absolutely right. It's desperation plays. This round all but concluded. Scary, just outside this. Cloudburst might find one.
A, u
actually.
skoku ga je ubio.
Durka hits him with the moves. Doma going to clean
Flawless.
things up, but a Prime Gaming
GG.
flawless to put Fnatic on map point here.
Jel misliš da
on
stižeš
Icebox.
ove sate? Stvarno ne znam, brate, vidit
And here
ćemo.
we go. This could be map one. It has been a bit of a blowout. If Fnatic close now, it's on X10. You got to put up more than this. Fnatic are playing like their life is on the line right now, and it is. This is an elimination game, and they have brought out everything. They are not holding back for a second. Durka's on point. Everyone's firing on all cylinders, and X10 look a little slower to this.
Yeah, and I mean the big question coming into this series would have been, you know, how
Vidit ćemo
much of an
sljedeću
impact
mapu,
did
ljudi.
that other series have on Fnatic. So to come to the elimination game and play like this, it's a huge positive for me. Again, you know, before day one started, a big thing with both of the EMEA teams was, what are we going to see on LAN?
Yes. And at this point,
Vratio
road to
slušalice,
recovery
ja.
is good.
Da, da,
This
jest.
is still though Fnatic's map choice. So X10 fans,
Ja moram da nađem to,
don't
ljudi.
despair just
Ja
yet.
moram da
There is still
vratim
room.
live i da vidim te slušalice
But if it
kako on
keeps
drži
going
sad.
this way, if there's
Čim se
no
završi
extra
ova
rounds to be
mapa.
found,
Moram
I've got to
staviti na
feel their
Twitter sliku.
hearts are going to be sinking. But Fox has been desperately trying to do something with this. He's been pulling his way and then some, but Doma does not care for any of your feelings. Doubles down, and it gets two, and now it's just one. Crew's left with it all to do in map one here.
Ok, to je to.
This elimination will
Prvu mapu
start
dobije
being
Fnatic,
said
ljudi.
more and more. Cruz now tries to step in. Boaster says
Eto.
no. Fnatic's
GG.
first step in staying alive.
Čekaj da vidimo samo domu kada ustane. Čekaj.
A dominant performance. I mean, to set this up, we talked about coming into this map. Patty Pan, obviously a huge win condition.
Gledaj ga bre
For me,
doma,
like I said,
brate. Gledaj
I look
kako je tu
towards kind of
zvira
Fox
čovjeka
and
u
Sushi
stvari.
Boys to be the ones to back that up. Fox had an insane map right there.
Yes, he
He
did.
actually played really, really well, but I mean, I gotta come back to it. We just saw too many times where Cruz was falling. I mean, that last round there, still 3 flashes available, just lost in that rotation as soon as the hit comes through. X10 have taken way too many casualties already, and it's unrecoverable for them.
Yeah, I think
Šta
a
je
lot
ovo?
of our worries of
Jebote,
maybe
lik
the
se nije ni
mental
vidio
of
to.
Fnatic have been
Evo ga doma.
slightly answered. I think this game is just an example of them striding through a matchup. Sadly for X10, they just didn't look like they got into the game yet. This looked like a slow start. They looked a little absent. We've seen what they look like when it all goes well. They had a brilliant performance to get to this game.
Eto,
So
GG.
I can only
Čekaj,
hope
možda
we see
nađem sam
more of
sliku.
that going into, if I'm not mistaken, Haven next.
Gleda, 23 viewer. Ljudi, pređite na trovo, šta vam je ono? Samo mi znači ljudi na trovo. Čekaj, moram da nađem sad to.
This could be map one. It has been a bit of a blowout if...
Kad se desilo? Nemo su male. Evo ga ovdje.
Really tough. They find the first.
Haha, čekaj. Ja, brate, ovdje. Spavaš ono ovako. Evo! Vri mi voda za kafu.
It's a shutdown. 11 on the board.
Kad će teknično 200, o čemu pričaš? Ono? Imam kao pravim boksove, da. Ti na stream pre sad. Evo ga! Čekaj sad, jel mogu kvalitet poveći? Au, koja glupa zrot. Ne! Ma daj. Evo ga. Evo ga. Ne, nije to to. Ma ti mene zezaš da sam morao da tražim opet. Ajde. Ko da ne pričaš s tamo, brate. Zadnjih nedelju dvije, ono. Aj, daj nam domu da ga slikamo za Twitter, ono.
This time goes back in, and they're just clutching at straws, and nothing unfortunate. But fingertips
Nemo su male
down,
slu...
they're just clutching it again.
Mene neko se bava, ono. Evo ga, brate. Čekaj da se skloni ovo YouTube stranje. A ovo neće se spustiti, što?
It's really tough to watch this because it comes down to a couple of minute readjustments where they have the utility to do so.
Ma ti crni, ne vredi da pričaš stalno, brate.
Place.
Kako ja ta skinemo? Dobro. Nisam se sve sjavio. Dobre. Ima pauza 2 minuta, okej. Ovo sad ide na Twitter odmah. Sad ćemo kako će se igra mapa broj 2. Koja je druga mapa? Haven je tako? Ovo su fake seeds, ovih spet, da. Ne znam, Haven druga mapa, vrat. Ajde imamo, da li nešto X10 možda urodim na drugoj mapi? Da. Ma. Hvala. Tu samo stoji što. Nešto tamo slobodno. Jo. Što kisele ti mnogo? Jeste Haven Rex, okej. Jel oni dalje mogu Grand? Da, i dalje mogu Grand. Pa nisu. Pa bio mi se ugasio stream. Sad. To. Super. Brate, stvarno mi se ovo otvori slika, šta? Ne znam šta da mu piše, brate. To je to. Ne mogu da verujem, znači. Evo, tweet. Ok, 14 sekundi. Samo sam teo da vidim. Znači, ovo je sutra u 10. Doma ovo vina i igra sutra u 5. Ok. I sutra igraju Team Vikings protiv Liquid ili Crew Esports. Ok. Dobro.
ก็เป็นเปลี่ยนคอมแบบ
Opa, lepotan.
ก็น่าทำให้เคอร์ทิลคูณมึนๆอยู่บ้างก็หลักๆเลยคือการปรับตัวเราปรับตัวไวมากก็คิดว่าที่สำคัญคือในอนาคตถ้ามันมีเมตาอะไรใหม่ๆเข้ามาการปรับตัวคือเรื่องสำคัญคือว่าเราเรียนรู้ว่าเราปรับตัวได้ไว
Join Riot and the LGBTQ+ community in celebrating Pride Month. Inclusive games mean a better experience for everyone. And while we can't march this year, we can certainly celebrate in-game. And all of our games, including League of Legends and Valorant, will have Pride content, such as emotes, player cards, and more. Equip your content, show your support for LGBTQ+ players everywhere. Thank you so much, everyone, and welcome back to the studio here in Los Angeles. You just heard some words there from Patafan about needing to adapt to the situation, needing to adapt as far as the meta goes. Golden Boy here alongside my colleagues. We got Lothar, Veli, and Achilleos. And Lothar, let's jump straight into the Prime Gaming map highlights because you know, we're not going to beat around the bush. You know, the X10 kind of got mollywopped. What went wrong?
Yeah, there was a how did you call it yesterday? There was a lot of whammies.
Whammies,
you know, all over the place.
Whammy.
Exactly. Exactly. So there was a lot of anchoring on sides as well, especially from Mystic, because they basically, let's say, just abused what X10 was lacking. And what was lacking was Sage. If you're paying attention to what I was saying in the previous days, if you don't have a Sage on attack on Icebox, planting on B is a very tough task ahead of you. And what is even more important is that Fnatic knew about that. So they put a Toxin Orb on B side default, so no one can plant there. They can put a Killjoy Nano Swarm, they can put a Snakebite there, they can delay the plant for such a long time, it's insane. Then spam through the box, someone standing in the orb has 1 HP, dies to 1 bullet. And because of that, they funnel the people from the attackers to A side, where they're gonna be just hunted down by the rest of the team. So Fnatic playing really well strategically, and X10 just cannot find a counter to what is the counter from Fnatic to them.
You know what? I think Lothar is hitting it on the head. I'm looking at the comp lineup right now, and with Sova, Jet, Viper, Killjoy, if you're going just A like Immortals in first strike, then that comp might work out. But having Breach and not a lot of long-lasting smokes, you don't have Sage's Ice Walls. That's why we've seen that super aggressive playstyle over at B for X10. They're going to have to switch that up and just add another variable to it. If you want to be successful at both sides, you're going to have to throw in the Brimstone. You're going to have to throw in maybe an Omen, maybe an Astra. You have to clear off long lines of sights, because what happened was you had Potafan, you know, he's dashing in. And what is it? You have Doma on ledge. You have people kitchen ledge, just getting easy picks. So you're going to have to block off more sight than that. And a little bit of protection from Sage might help. So X10, maybe they could turn that into a better game next time.
Yeah, I mean, I said that there's potential for this to maybe be a close series, maybe even a 2-1, but right now it seems like they're just kind of getting outgunned at every twist and turn. I think the composition changes will definitely help them, but I mean, Patty's just going for, you know, such aggressive plays, and he is getting outfragged. You know, we're seeing Durka, we're seeing Mystic coming up with these kills, shutting him down early. So even if they do make those adjustments, I don't know if that's going to be enough for X10 to be able to actually make this into a competitive series. I'm just happy that they still have smiles on their faces at the end of it all. You can tell that these guys, despite the fact that they're kind of getting brutalized there on Icebox, they're still having a good time. They're just kind of happy to be a part of it all. So it's good to see that they are going to be at least like mentally stable to go into this next map. So maybe with some adjustments, they can try to tighten it up a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure. And Lothar did want to touch, though, on a particular play that you had brought up as well. There were some decent moments there. I think, you know, from X10, mostly from Fnatic. What do you got for me?
Yeah, this was actually a very neat play by X10 when they used the Killjoy ult to push out Mystic out of his ultimate. And then when he was pushed out of his ultimate, he had to stand in a corner where an Nano Swarm was being just used. And basically, he gets detained. And because of that, he then gets preyed upon. And that's a great usage of utility here by X10. But coming into Haven, this is actually a very good thing to talk about for a brief moment, because so far Fnatic only played on Icebox and Haven in this event, and if they were gonna win 2-0, they're still only gonna play on Icebox and Haven. They're gonna save a lot of strats. But X10 is using a Viper differently than we currently see it in Europe, than Liquid, an example, which Fnatic is familiar with. So there might be a small advantage coming from X10 right now on Haven because of Patifan's very aggressive Viper play with the orbs. So I'm really looking forward to how they will counter that that type of play style from X10.
For sure. And they're going to definitely need to step it up here if they want to force a Game 3. Because so far, it looks like Fnatic are looking to only play games on Icebox and Haven. Let's go ahead and send it over to your casters now to get things rolling. For map number 2, you got Pansy and Hypoc on the horn.
Thanks, guys. And yeah, this has to now be a bounce back coming in from X10. The Spirits didn't look crushed. They didn't look too down and out. They looked like they were still having a good time, but no one likes losing, so it's time to turn up a little bit here. Straight into the Agent Select, brought to you by Prime Gaming. We can have a little look at the selection coming in.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I know Lothar just mentioned flexing onto the Viper here and Fox onto the Jet. Now,
stop and name a Sage.
Fantastic map 1, so potentially here going to be able to on an agent that suits it a little more, but again, for me, it's the consistency in that front line, and we'll talk about that as we come into Haven here. Again, no real surprises on the side of Fnatic. It's sort of expected them to adopt this comp and carry it through, but yeah, it's. I mean, I come back to it. There was just too many rounds where, you know, the the conditions were Patipan finding an entry and then having some follow-up in terms of X10's frontline. And it just wasn't there for me on a utility basis or kind of a, you know, positional basis. There was never anything to double down on any of the early round work that they did do. And I say that, it was only really like call it a 25% success ratio. So even on those rounds where they did find entry, there was just nothing to secure that.
Okay. It's got to be do or die
Kipi
time
je
for X10.
instalirao,
They're
brate,
staring down
Fnatic
now,
logo.
map advantage
Okay.
against them.
Kako su oni
And for
ludi?
Fnatic,
Gala će da
this
instalira
has to
Fnatic
feel
logo ako
kinda
Doma
good
dođe
to
do
shake
finala.
off that last game to get their
Spori,
heads
hvala
up,
ti puno
feeling
nešto 300
confident
eliksira, brate.
moving
Hvala.
forward in, of course,
Hvala
a
na
very
1500
similar
mane
map pool
također.
to where they got defeated.
Je li ovo
So
prva mapa? Druga.
this for them should be road to recovery, potentially at least in their confidence, if they can close this out cleanly. However, X10, we already had Fox stand up a little bit. We need the rest to be able to meet that
Šta
sort of
mislite, ko će da
caliber
pobedi
because he
sljedeći
has
meč?
been popping off. The rest,
Šta
though,
kažete? Navijamo
look
za Team
quiet on
Liquid,
that
ljudi,
front.
a?
Yeah, and I guess once again, the key stakeholders here on defense, at least in terms of information gathering.
Au, brate,
Sushi
stvari.
actually gonna get peeked on B here. Doma will actually come out on top of that massively in terms of the damage. They're gonna reset back towards Garage, at least deal with some of the utility here. So
Spori.
this is the sort of thing I was
Smiri
just
se,
about to
Spori.
start talking about. It's reacting off
Hvala
this early
Špic.
information here. And Fox actually will
Opa,
find first
odbetke.
blood. Durka will fall, but Fnatic set up elsewhere. It's the
Hvala,
perfect
Spori, puno.
contact to give them.
Ajmo ljudi po 100 mane za Domu. Imate i bokse, ljudi, riješite te treasure bokse. Imate 2 treasure bokse, da znate. Ako niste provarili. Desi Paško. Vidim Paško imao si odličan stream kad si ga pali na trovo, a?
It's a very slow piece going forward. They're not making any noise with this so far, trying to navigate their way around as quietly as possible.
30 seconds left.
I love
Now,
this.
Cruz is watching the CT push, so he's aware
Ali on
that
gleda, oni
it
znaju,
is
brate.
open for business and someone could potentially
On
come
zna,
through, but keep
brate,
in mind how
gledaj.
far away Fox is. Cruz needs to stay alive. The flash is pretty
I?
good for at least one.
Pomoću
Did
Domu?
get the blind as well
znao
towards
sam.
Doma, but
Ok, 1
Magnum's
za
on the
1, šta?
trade,
Bar je
so
nešto
already the
uradio.
site's gonna be
I
under
uspori
control.
ih,
They've got to
ako
be
ništa
aware
drugo.
of Fox, and it seems as though they are. Yeah, Magnum's on the case for that. Now, Spike planted, though. The retake still got some legs to this.
Aj,
Don't
sad
think
će
it's
da vidimo.
over. Unless
Bravo.
Brewster does more of that. No, Patipan quickly shuts that down before that became any
Mystic
sort of problem.
i Magnum.
Mystic still towards hell, and it's just Mystic.
Hvala vam na mani,
Tries to turn
ljudi.
the own flash. Knives out, baby. Let's go. Mystic! It's 2, but Scary calms our worries. And X10 gonna get the pistol.
For a moment there, when he's able to still throw out that flash, I'm like, no way. Patipan comes in swinging with the knife to try and close it out. Again, good presence of mind though. Again, with the early information, Magnum immediately after they find this trade onto Cruz, Magnum immediately comes across to address Suez, knowing full. I'm glad we caught that as well. Again, if he finds that kill a little earlier, maybe he can reset actually. For
Mystic
that
jako
final
dobro
kill
igra,
to
ljudi.
Scary.
On je stvarno dobar igrač.
Very much doable there.
Ako nisu svi dobri, šta?
I
Realno.
think actually going to invest back into this.
Svako,
Yeah,
brate, u
look at
nekom
this, 3
trenutku
Spectres, the Marshal
klača
coming out.
nešto dobro radi, ono.
That's a pretty comparable purchase. That's not bad at all. Fox could be in trouble, but Durka
Au, brate, Judge.
taking a little bit of space, but his Boaster might be leaning in on this Doma, ready to try and set this in motion.
Oh, he's going to wall the wrong side.
And here we go. Fox, how much damage can you do?
Ne,
One's
dobar,
good.
jednog je ubio samo.
Maybe a little more, but
Kakva,
through
3 kila je
Scary.
uzeo,
Cruz is
brate.
gonna
U
lock
jednom
that down.
spreju je uzeo
Perfect
3
play
kila.
from X10.
A ne, nije 2, izvinite.
Instantly nullifying any threat that
Jebi
could have
ga.
happened towards B.
Well, that
Dobro je,
Magnum will
bar je
find
rešio jednog ovdje.
Sushi though. Yeah, hunted down. I know exactly where he is. Patipan going to post up and we'll find the final kill. That really good setup there from X10 and anticipating
2-0 gube, brate.
the hit and
Šta
run,
je,
I guess,
ljudi-
execute onto B site and putting Fox there with a
Ok, ja
jump.
vidjet ćemo.
Only good for one, but and the cleanup was perfect here. Coming through from A and C link at the same time, actually.
No hesitation on that. Everyone just piled on in. That's a great response from X10 to instantly lean towards it. No holding back at all. And Fnatic will be put in the pocket for a little bit on the economy at least.
So they can't carry across this, so Sushi Boy actually only with a ghost here, but if he could just play distance, it should be fine for him. He's He's going to be tucked onto the back of C's side, and Fnatic actually looking like they want to force all the way up through the utility onto C. Durka will immediately find him. Scary will trade, but more to deal with.
Scary's not taking any damage, no time to reload just yet, but gets
Au, brate, ova dva lika su low, on uz X10 i ovu rundu koliko ja vidim, definitivno. Samo Doma je živ. Može? Ajde, jebi ga, Lidge je dobio, brate. 3-0, brate. Pazi, ljudi, ovo je tek side mapa, oni su na tek, oni napadaju i gube 3-0. Okej, ovo je zajebano.
Getting themselves a couple of rounds on the board after Icebox is exactly what they need.
Ok, ali ovi sad imaju full buy, pazi. Ajde vidimo ko. Znači X10 ovu rundu ne smije da dobije, bukvalno. Znači X10 ova ne smije da dobije.
Yeah, and that's good to see after getting picked apart on Icebox to come back in with the right energy and get the first 3 rounds on the board.
Much better. Fox quickly on the op though. Heard the Sky Flash pop. I'm going to fall away from this for now. Had a little bit of a look towards sewers, but decides to not go for that much.
Ma kak je luka, brate? Da je balansirana mapa kad ima 3 sajta, brate? Kako može mapa sa 3 sajta da bude balansirana?
Just try and get this map control to build.
If Cruz saw anything there, but Durka already tucked opposite sandbags here, so could get caught off guard. The creep comes through, and actually Cruz will escape for the time being. Blind will slow things down a little bit as well, as there's nobody coming through sewers here. It's everybody stacked on long if they...
Ne znaju još jedan blin na C, jedan blin double door, šta? Tačnije, pretpostavljaju, vraćaju se nazad.
Nobody else from X10 giving anything else away on the other side of the map, as Fnatic now going to throw a little bit of utility down. Makes me think they're going to try and force through as 5 here onto A side.
They managed to pull away 2 of the flashes now from Cruz, so he's going to have to try
no
and
info off that. Look at it.
Really?
Wait. And this rotation?
Ne, cer, oni misle C. Oni misle C.
On this mystic fake and just sending in the fake flash as well, keeping all these players that they can
Nemoj da sereš, brate.
Terrible for X10. They had 3 players here. They were all in the right
Kako
place.
su ih sjebali?
It's going to be rough as well. Mystic still got that flank. He's still holding map control.
It's on the back of Cruz getting no audio cue off that flash.
To je to, Doma face reveal. Pa ima Doma face reveal svoj već dugo šta.
And Mystic's timing sells this fake perfectly.
Još pre 2 godine se znalo kako Doma izgleda.
Fnatic already set up everything in place to hold this now. Durka already causing problems in heaven. Will get dealt with.
There's no player in hell either. Interesting post plants here. Doma could get isolated depending on Magnum on the swing from sight. Takes a fair crack of damage there himself down to
Borna, hvala ti puno na sabu, Borna.
And Fox with that op, he's probably going to want to try and keep that, but Doma's now going to cut off the retreat. Fox is in a little...
Jebi ga, nisam znao, sad znaš.
Oh, he doesn't get away either.
Za tebe face
Good
reveal.
catch from Doma there, just to cost them that op. Picking it up if they wanted, opting to not go for it this time around. They're happy with what they've got.
I love that timing as well. If Fnatic actually read that perfectly, it's like, yeah, did anybody get blind? No, we can immediately creep on the back of this and actually probably get close enough to hear the audio cue of them falling away, right? So right there, Mystic's got all the information he needs to work on. He needs to throw out the flash, throw the Seekers in, and then as soon as only one of those goes to C site, and you know, a couple will split off towards Garage or whatever, then it's literally the perfect fake for Fnatic. Dealing with that information perfectly. And like I said, I mean, you look towards a couple of players who tend to be the stakeholders in terms of map control here and gathering information. Right there, Fnatic pivot perfectly on it.
Now, ult did just come up, and we saw that being picked up by Paddypan there, so he's going to pop the ult, try and keep control of sewers and slip back towards A. Still a 3-play stack towards A as well, coming out from X10. Fnatic, however, exploring options elsewhere. Durka not shy on showing presence, but has to be cautious. There was a little bit of a play out on long from the jet on the other side, so Durka again trying to maintain a little bit of presence, but joining the rest towards that C side.
Dere se on kad vinaju.
A little bit of a set piece here. Is Magnum lining up this Nano Swarm. Mystic going to try and clear through some of these close angles.
Borna, hvala ti na 100 eliksira, Borna, hvala. Hvala stvarno na sabu na 100 eliksira.
Push coming through just yet, but Doma with the pinch actually will find Sushi, and now Scary got to be very careful. Isolated on backside here, and Doma will clean him up as well.
Yeah, that isolation coming in through Garage. Doma with a bit of a wide step on it. Paddypan, no drag
Ali nema šanse da ih oni ubiju, brate.
Can't do exactly what he wanted. Still finding Doma, but look at this. Fox has to do some big work now. Even Padipan going to be called upon in a 2v3. Now, the spike's yet to be planted. That's in the hands of Magnum right now, being dragged towards side. Padipan, he's ahead of this. He's going to get the freebie, denies the spike plant. Quick trade, though. Now the 1v2 Fox can still do this. 13 seconds for the plant. There's a player in the back coming of sight. Says no. Fnatic convert. With the two standing.
It's super unlucky for Padipan, not able to escape there. Does deny
Zamisli kako bi bio dobar klač da se uspije da klače, brate. Mare Phantom ili Vandal? Pa Vandal je bolje, ali ja više volim Phantom.
Padipan has no option to get out and
šta ne? A jebi ga, crni, ja volim da vidim dobre play-eve, brate, ono. Razumeš? Fanatici će pobediti svakako ovdje. Nego bilo bi dobro da neki dobar play napravi čovjek, razumeš ono? Zar nije hype sad ih ono ovdje ubio nekako?
Yeah, good response. Gonna two back on the board for themselves, and actually X10 on a funky buy here, and Fnatic looking to change the pace.
Oh, the flash, just Boaster was so ready for it. Utility was there as well to try and slow the hit, but now going to control the play. And this is just Fnatic striding through towards the site here. This is going to be hard to handle. The flank gets caught, Fox found. And now it's down to the two, and playing retake on these weapons is never fun. So when the spike plant goes in, you can kind of put this one in the pockets of Fnatic. Unless Durka massively overextends, but no, he's keeping his composure here. Scary now.
Naskače ga pika, brate. Još ima bakije.
Maybe do whatever damage he could, but now noted. It's just not a nice situation to be in, is it?
A bucky in hand is not what it used to be, that's for sure. I don't think Fnatic are even going to give him the consolation. Should leave him alive, actually, here. Okay, maybe clear him up. An opportunity to punish the economy even further, force him to carry that bucky across into the next. It's almost like the most shameful thing that can come out of that is being forced to save the bucky.
Never nice, is it? With the space, Fnatic are finding it. They're not being held up at all. This confidence from Icebox seems to have been carried into now the gun rounds at least. But we do have the buy coming back out for X10, so if there's going to be a time to stop the rot, it has to be now. Because keep in mind how these rounds have gone down. We had the force from Fnatic in the second, so you expect that knock-on if they didn't convert it. So the first three kind of get put down almost as that pistol round, as in a weird way. But once these rifles have come out for both sides and the break on the back of it, X10 have kind of been struggling a bit. Let's see what this goes down like. Already an early investment of the ult here.
Yeah, Fox is drifting down C long. He might catch one, but it's a triple peek comes through there. Does find the first, but traded. Doma find that one will get Magnum straight back on his feet.
Yeah, there's utility here, but there's no one to stop this or utilize it. Durka's already worked his way forward. Padipan has no idea. Durka is just thriving in no man's land. He is just claiming it as his own. Once again, X10 on the player disadvantage. Sushi, Scary, and Cruz going to try and find ways back in, but that was a quick hit. There's still plenty of utility with Fnatic. Ball goes up. Durka just going to be sitting there, funneling them forward, just dodging bullets like Neo. No problem. Tapping away, keeping them back, biding the time. Seeker's coming out as well. Big investment for X10. Now, timing on the reload could work out, but no. Mystic on the bailout. Durka's still alive. Scary, not looking so threatening until now. Comes alive, gets three. The final player. Would he expect it? No. Mystic pushing up aggressively to find him. And it's going to be another for Fnatic, even though X10 did get close.
Came very close, and I mean, on the back of that investment, rightfully so. And down the Cosmic Divide as well. Pretty late on during that retake, actually after the Seekers get thrown. Fnatic were just good enough control. And again, it's a similar thing to what we saw on Icebox. That's a really good use of the wall here to create just another choke point. Also, Boaster gets caught in that lurk actually pretty early on. Usually in these sorts of executions, we look towards Boaster to be that late round presence or the game changer for Fnatic, and it didn't end up mattering this time. I think actually as soon as they find that lurk kill, right, they can kind of be a little more aggressive, get stacked up a lot closer because they know that they have no flank threat to worry about. X10 actually going to call a timeout here with Fnatic pulling one round ahead. The buy's not pretty, Lauren. It's I mean, it's no real surprise, but once again, there just seems to be an inability to kind of deal with the early round pressure. And again, one thing you look towards is certain players kind of being on point with their rotations, kind of finding early information, backing away, knowing when to, you know, give up a site and play a full retake. But Fnatic are just so good at setting up a strong post plant that, I mean, even there where it goes, you gotta say favorably for X10 in the first, you know, 10 to 15 seconds. Fnatic just play numbers. It's just a trade back and forth, comes down to a 1v1, and the players on Fnatic right now just on point.
And I don't want this to necessarily deem that X10's individuals aren't good. Like, how many times have we seen Paddypan having great rounds, or in that preview one, Scary, Fox in the last map? So many of these players are great individuals, but you got to be that collective right now to be able to take down Fnatic, it looks like. But a fast flash through middle, potentially. Nothing massive off the back of it. But a quick build towards ALOO, and as you highlighted earlier, the economy's in a bad spot for X10 here, so if they can get anything out of this, that'd be fantastic. But Boaster ahead of the flash, plays into it, does not care. It's for the birds, and now Dirk are going to take up that space, and once again, they just take so much early map control here that they can fall away from this. They've done brilliantly already. Getting a little bit of a top-up as well, and they can reaggress when needed. You can see Fox trying to find that room to clear out that now triple stack in hell.